All right, we're live, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of DatSmokeShow. We still have a few guests that'll be joining us here a little bit later, but we have a super awesome panel with us already. We have first off, thanks a lot for joining us, Chad. How's it going?
Pretty awesome, man. Stoked to be here. I've already had a really fun conversation behind the scenes, so looking forward to tonight and hanging out with everybody. Thanks.
Hell yeah, it's been fun. We also got Brendan Rust. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just doing my thing like always. I'm out in Chicago right now. Gonna be headed home to Oklahoma tomorrow, and it's back to work, back to the grind.
We also got Wesingine. How's it going?
What to go on, rude boy? Big up Houghton, big up Chad, big up London, big up Brandon Russ. Hope you're all living well. Big up everybody in chat. Hope everyone's living their best life and doing good things, man. Smoking some good herb and yeah, man, living the life. Anyways, back to you. Welcome, London.
Thanks, brother. Super pumped to be here. Thanks, Potent, for inviting us on. I'm London, and this is
Ken Somerville,
and we're future cannabis project producers from Canada. We just happened to be together, and this muck was running around in my yard causing trouble. So I'm like, I'm gonna drag you on and make you smoke some pot and hang out with some really cool people for a little bit before you have to run off to go hang out with John Berthello and go to the Mom Cup up here in BC, Canada.
Yeah, Hope BC this weekend,
which is exciting. So yeah, thanks for inviting us on. I'm happy to be here, guys. This is awesome.
And I'm your host, Steve from Ponics, and this is the Dat Smoke Show. We talk about all kinds of cool cannabis topics, cannabis news from the last week, and a bunch of other fun stuff. If it's interesting or relevant or just kind of cool, we kind of let the conversation meander a little bit more on this show than a lot of other shows. So it's kind of more like hanging out at a last smoke lounge or a bar or something with your good buddies. It's kind of the format of the show. So thanks everybody who's watching that hasn't watched the show. Please tell your friends about the show. Please like and subscribe. We just started the show. It's our 4th episode. We've been growing pretty steadily each episode. Thanks everybody for supporting the show so far. It does mean a lot. Wes and I have had a great time putting everything together, and it's been a lot of fun. First off, I wanted to say big ups to Cass Posey for putting on the Mycelia, the festival last weekend. It was a great time. Matt Powers was out there, Chris Trump, a whole bunch of awesome mushroom educators. There's all kinds of cool panels on extractions, mushroom extraction and cultivation and all different types of stuff. They had a whole panel on hallucinogenic wines and beers, and it was really cool. There's a lot of neat topics that you just don't see very often in other places. So definitely looking forward to next year's panel and conference. So that was a lot of fun. Definitely check that out next year if you get a chance. How are you guys doing this week? Anything fun? I got a chance to go meet Cheech today. That was kind of neat. But are you guys up to anything fun this week? I know Brendan Rust, you were telling us about some cool new stuff that you got coming out. Do you want to tell everybody about that? That was really neat.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm out here in Chicago. I was hanging out with my attorney and Dr. George Caltizes, owner of NASA Agricultural Technologies. And the reason why I came out here was finalize some contracts. So we're going to be doing Bokashi Earthworks in Latin America. And we're going to be doing a Bokashi Earthworks in Europe as well. So we're just basically going to replicate the business model. I have some people over there. And so we're just getting, contracts in place for that. And then also for the product that Dr. George has been working on for quite a while, which is the Humate fertilizer pot, aka the NutriPot, which is a completely biodegradable pot made out of fertilizer and manure compost. And it's designed to deliver all of the mineral nutrition a plant needs right at its root zone. And it's designed to reduce transplant shock because you don't have to up pot anything, reduce plastic waste, and reduce water usage, and be able to cultivate crops in soils that may not necessarily be ideal. So, that's one of the things we're going to be working on bringing to market. And so we're going to be doing some testing when I get back home. And it's something that will be able to be purchased, hopefully within the next couple of months. It's been a minute that we've been formulating everything and figuring out the best substrates and everything. And so it's all kind of figured out now, and hope to bring it to market real soon.
That's awesome. It sounds really exciting, and definitely looking forward to trying those. I know we're about to use your soil at one of the farms that I work with here coming up. So super stoked about that to start running that on another system. So real excited, and you always come out with super awesome products and stuff like that. It's kind of nice to see that kind of innovation in the market.
Thanks. Yeah. And your friends will be real stoked on that soil. We've had absolutely wonderful success with all the farms who's using it, because it was built and blended based off of the target nutritional values that cannabis requires. So it comes ready to go.
Awesome.
That's like a huge thing, right? Like when I think about these type of products and their volume of use, right? 100, like every small grocery store, every single tiny grocery store in Canada puts through a couple dozen trays at least, probably throwing out 10 to 20%. And we're talking about plastic that's single use, that isn't being reused again. We're talking about, and we're also talking about other costs too. Like they're going to have to feed those plants, or they let them die and dispose of them. So there's a lot of transitionary costs and stuff in there. So is this like really workable on those price lanes that are currently in the market? I mean, usually when it comes to something new or novel, it costs a little bit more, but you can justify things by having all of these extra bonuses with them. So like this is infused, so it's not like any other product before it. So like, what's the cost line on it right now in comparison? Like, is a small grocery store going to notice a difference in cost in a product put into that, or are they going to majorly see a difference?
As far as just the plastic itself goes, right, that's really inexpensive. The costs, that the value of the product is obviously going to be more expensive. It's going to cost more, but the added benefit and the amount of waste that they get from those industries, from things that die off, or whatever reason, like you said, 20% waste. If you don't have that happen, then there's money right there that you save. So it comes with, it's more than just the container. It's the fertilizer, not having to buy fertilizers to fertilize a plant, and knowing that you have enough fertilizer for that entire plant's cycle. And then just the ease of use for the consumer, things like that you have to take into factor. But I don't even know what the price point is yet, because we're at such early stages. What we have to be able to do is do the testing and then figure out what our cost for manufacturing is, factor into costs, things like labor, and then we can come up with a final price point. But honestly, it's not going to be, something like this. This shouldn't cost more than maybe like $1, to direct consumer, and then in huge bulk quantities. Something like this shouldn't cost more than maybe 20 cents.
That's really, really good on the price point when I think about that and trying to hit what else you get with it.
Yeah. And so the idea is to really, when we bring this to market first, we're going to, obviously, for the direct to consumer market, it'll be a little more expensive, also because we're just rolling this thing out. But ideally, when we have customers that are buying, tens of thousands of these things, to plant, their tomatoes or their peppers and stuff like that, that's where the volume is going to be able to decrease the costs.
Awesome. I know London had a thing. I guess you're not on a timeline there, London. Now I meant to get Ken on for a minute, but I guess he had to run.
No, he had to run. He's got to go see John Barthella, but we can drag him on in another week for sure. He'd be happy to come by for a visit.
Cool. Yeah. What other? I know you've been cooking up some other cool microbe stuff lately, Brendan. I saw you had quite a few posts on that as well lately.
Yeah. So we did all of the lab analytics and testing on the Microbe Plus, which I've actually been selling that for a couple of years now. And we got all the CFU count. I was super stoked. 94 million CFU per milliliter. That's 93 times stronger than EM1. So I'm really happy with the results. And so that product's available on the website. I've actually increased the sizes that you can purchase in. That's really the main micro products. And then I also have, things like the trichoderma, harzanium, the bacillus subtilis, the metahazarium, different species also that are listed for things like integrated pest management and for like nutrient cycling, or, I like to use the trichoderma and the bacillus subtilis in veg because it has the high affinity for iron. And I've seen data, on soil, on saturated paste test, comparative data where I did a trial with and without the inoculation. You can see a clear difference in the amount of available iron that falls into solution when you're using that specific consortium. So that's, I talked about like on a future cannabis project, biological crop steering, and I've had a couple of other magazines do some articles on the subject. And that's part of it, is like using biology to influence the chemical makeup of the soil and the soil solution to get a desired effect.
That's really cool. I know there's you spend a lot of time doing that, and you're definitely one of the people I like to reach out to when I have questions. Certainly, if I need a technical answer, you're certainly one of the better people to reach out to.
I try my best. It's always a constant,
Want your stuff in Canada, man. I'm just saying. If I could get,
I get so many requests. Like, what's up? Canada has some interesting regulations that can be kind of difficult, especially for microbial products.
Oh, yeah, they're fucked up, man. We have some very interesting regulations, and we're just slow with everything.
And it's, when it comes to compliance and regulations and labeling and things like that, it's a mix of bureaucracy, what people want and expect, and politics and finance. And so it can be a real mess.
Expensive mess, right? Too. It's quite challenging. Like, you really need to be 100% prepared from that.
Yeah, especially when you're like registering something that's new, that's not on the market. Like, you have to go through like EPA regulations, and like it costs like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crazy.
When you're ready to go, when you're up here, man, I'll be the first guy fucking pushing your shit in Canada. I'll tell you what, I will tell everyone I know. I'll tell every hydroponic shop that happens. You got our support here. We don't need, between us, we don't need the Bakashi that we have. We need the good stuff from you.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat asked about, says russet mites worth the trouble or bust out the flamethrower? Only 2 plants in veg, but I've sprayed sulfur 3 times at 3 tablespoons per gallon and just used Dr. Zymes all in 2-week span. Dr. Zymes sucks for insects. It's good for mold. I've never had it actually treat insects personally. The
only way that Zymes will work really effectively with insect pressure is if you're using really warm water.
Yeah. I would use Sulfoil X, especially if they're in veg. That's totally treatable. Like, that's not at all a problem unless they're at like truly insane levels. In fact, I will show you a truly insane level. Someone sent me a picture of them the other day, and I had never seen this type of like weird mutation
They look almost like a brownish gray mold when their populations get out of control. It almost looks like a fungus because they're so small, but then when there's millions of them, they start to create this like weird looking, it almost, like I said, it looks like a fungus.
Yeah, 1 second.
Now, would he need to do anything to his soil or treat the soil in any manner?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah. So like greenhouse applications, if you're in greenhouse setting, Pyganic is like bam, number one. And you would do your Suffoil X foiler, and you can even use Pyganic and then drench with the Pyganic, not the Suffoil X.
Okay.
But you want to treat everything when it comes to that, because I mean, I'm spraying plants, I'm spraying beds,
walls.
Yeah.
Well, because russet mites, that's kind of the more difficult one of the mites to get rid of. Like that's kind of the last one you want to see show up.
Yeah, them and broad mites.
Yeah, russet can be a real nightmare, because if you didn't take care of it in veg and you get into this stage right here, you can't do anything at this point. This is lost.
Yeah, this plant's fucked. So this was I'll leave them anonymous, but they sent me a picture of this in an email and was like, "What's wrong with my buds?" And they hadn't scoped it. And this is a good reason why you need to randomly scope your leaves, every day, every two or 3 days, and just look for stuff. Take a couple random leaves near the top of the plant and the bottom of the plant, and just look. It takes 5 minutes to throw them under a microscope and have an idea what's going on. But this one was a plant that was allowed to get way out of control. And then here's another.
You can see on the stems too, where it's like looking where they're starting to develop this like brownish, and like the whole thing's all brownish. So it kind of looks like a fungus from the naked eye, but you can't, I mean, these things are so small, and they they live in like the tiniest crevices on the undersides of the leaves, and like it's like they really get in there because they are so small.
Yep, they just totally screw up the flower formation when they're at this extreme level. This is the worst I've ever seen them as far as flower formation time. Right at senescence, really fucked them up.
I've never experienced russet mites. Fortunately, it's one of those things I've been able to avoid. Gotten lots of 2 spots, lots of the bigger mites. Never anything that like that, and never that bad. But like that's a tough one, man. That hurts my heart to look at a little bit.
It happens. I got a whole bunch. I'm doing consulting. I'm sure Brendan's got a bunch too. Like traveling around looking at grows. I've been to grows that had as much biomass and aphids as they did plant material.
Dude, I've gone to places where they were like, "Oh, I see you guys are farming aphids here." Like, I didn't know that this was an aphid farm. And I've seen root aphids completely colonize plants, dude, where they're like all over the leaves and like everything. I was like, this is insane. Like, how do you guys, and I just don't know. I guess it's just inexperience and just completely not knowing when it gets to a point like that. But I'll take root aphids over hemp russet any day. Because I can at least wipe out the soil-borne pest pretty effectively using things like Beauveria bassiana or Pyganic and other types of entomopathogenic fungi. Yeah, that's fucking gnarly.
That was in Oklahoma, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
at a grow.
Barf.
I'm sorry. Like, I got a photo the other day on one of we did the IPM show on the Dank Hour, man, and we got a photo like that fucking Joda submitted, and it was like a caterpillar with a predatory moth all over it, or wasps or whatever. The eggs were all hatched and stuff. And it's just like, oh, and just like I still like. It's one of those things that we're always taught, like growing up, watch out for bacteria, watch out for bugs, watch out for this, watch out for that. And it like, we have all these crazy stipulations in your head. And it's like taking me so long to get all over all of those things. Like, oh yeah, hey, let's enjoy the idea of making my own labs and actually eating it on a regular basis to like improve my own biome and doing all of these little things. but it's always that mental acuity. My mom was an insane clean freak. So maybe that was a little bit of a part of it, but it's like trying to get through those things. And now I'm like releasing like batches of brown lacewings, which is really fun to see these pests kind of take over, and not pests, but predatory insects jump in and do that type of thing and get over those points. I can turn my mic up if it's coming through a little bit low. I have a background thing.
Just a little bit low. No worries. But
how am I now?
Just a little bit loud.
A little bit better?
A little bit better.
Slightly too much. Maybe dial it back just a little. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's the fun part with having dials. The more technology you have, the more challenges you have with it. How about there?
There we go.
You happy?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it always amazes me how far sometimes people will let their grows go before they try to get help. And it's like, don't you think at some point between like full infestation and detection that you should have contacted someone? And that's the thing that always blows me away. Like some of these more crazy grows I've walked into, it's just like, how did you let it get to this point? You know?
Yeah, and oftentimes it's just ignorance. They just don't understand they don't understand what they're supposed to be using. And because I've gone to places where like, oh, we've been doing this and this and this, and it's like, yeah. But I've also gone to places that are like, what's IPM? So it's like, you never know what you're gonna get.
It still amazes me too. You have a lot of people that are taking clones and then just dipping them and sticking them and not,
treating
submerging them or quarantining them all.
IPM starts. Like you should be spraying your moms when you take cuts. You always treat your cuts prior to sticking them, and then you treat your cuts right before you transplant as well. It's part of a standard operating procedure that should be part of every single facility's protocol, and it just doesn't, it from a horticulture standpoint, it doesn't make sense if you're not doing that. I mean, you're, especially with a high dollar value crop, we always, everybody here knows the saying, an ounce of prevention.
But like this kind of shit.
Yeah.
So is it there's too many idiots running big facilities, or is it the general education of the space is not high enough for the volume of product being put out?
That's what the biggest thing is, because ag science hasn't really been implemented so much in like mainstream into cannabis. Most people are still running hydroponics with nutrient charts, as opposed to like, no other industry in ag does what cannabis does, right? Every other industry uses agronomists and they use analytic data to minimize their inputs and to maximize their production. And those models just like seem to fly out the window with cannabis. I understand it's a high dollar value crop, but the future of this, it's going to decrease and decrease and decrease over time as world markets open up and federal legislation passes. So if you're not actively working to decrease your overhead as far as your inputs, you're not going to be able to sustain a business model over a long period of time. And so that's the way that it should be approached, in my opinion, is the way that I approach it. And I test soil, I do tissue analysis, and I base all of what I put into that system on only what I need. If I only need a little bit of calcium, I'm not going to go and apply an entire NPK fertilizer. And, I'm going to apply gypsum or calcium silicate, because I only need to target that one, element. I only need to increase, one thing in the soil, as opposed to just dumping stuff on there and hoping for the best. Because that's what I've seen in the past, and that's what I used to do. And I talk from experience because I've done hydro. I did hydroponics for 11 years, and then I did soil with fertigation salts, and then I did all organics without doing agronomic data science. And then when I got into the commercial side, I was like, I cannot, like, these people spent $1 million on this facility, And if I'm going to stay here and get paid $100,000 a year salary to maintain this operation, I have to make sure that they meet their targets. And the only way to make sure that you're doing something consistently all the time perfect is by collecting data and making sure, because you take all the guesswork out of it. There's no guesswork involved. There's no trying to diagnose what's happening with a plant, because the data is already there and you can just look at it.
It's fascinating how micro you can get with those things. Just even looking at the plants is such a macro level compared to what you're doing. And that's the seemingly like the traditional thing. Like you're saying, people, it's kind of an evolution of the industry. You went from people who were lighting up houses to now lighting up a warehouse, but still trying to do it the old way. And then, well, they got a little bit smarter. They started getting HVAC guys, they started getting all these people to come in. But now you're taking it, or you're seeing the next level, because that's where it's going to go. And sometimes, and I'm speaking kind of from a perspective of the music industry and how I saw that progress and its technology, is just like, you have to do these things and you have to learn them. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. Unfortunately, there will be very smart people with, a lot of letters behind their names that have never really grown cannabis, but they're going to come into a facility and fucking understand it pretty well.
Yeah.
You got the best of both worlds, man. I always say it's like education is good, experience is great. If you can combine the two, you're unbeatable.
Yeah. And it's not like I developed a new system or anything. I didn't do anything at all. All I did was come to the logical conclusion that this is how it has to be done, because this is how it's done in every other industry. And this is an agriculture crop, regardless of whether people want to look at it as a drug or because it's being treated with like such this huge prestige a lot of times because of what it is, but it's associated with this like high dollar amount. And that idea is going to change, because as, again, world markets open up and people have the options, the consumer will have more options on what they want, where they want it from. Federal legislation will open up markets, and California will have the ability to distribute all over the country, or Oregon or Oklahoma, and so you have to think about what's going to happen in the industry in the future and how you're going to be able to secure your business. And again, what it all comes down to is decreasing your inputs, whether that's electric, fertilizers, labor, all of those, and everything else, that's just how it has to be. It's the only way that people will be able to survive and be profitable.
You've got a lot of understanding of other crops around, and it seems like you've done a lot of your research with agriculture as a whole. So I have a question, maybe feel free for anybody to jump in. What is the current, your average price of a high quality good with the same yield per square foot in the agricultural industry? And what is the average price per pound of that product?
Well, see, I can't answer that question because every single crop has a different price point, right? It's like a tomato isn't going to get the same price as a cucumber or pepper.
Yeah, but they're all based off of the same approximate cost. How much does it cost for me to produce? How much can I cost and sell it as a profit? How much can I go? Unless you're doing like high-end organic produce where it's like, hey, I'm producing this crop, but your basic general stereotypical grocery store crop, your yield per square foot. I mean, I look at cannabis, and you touched on a point that I thought was really important is we look at it as a very high value crop, but there are a lot of other crops that are produced that are the same yield per square foot that we don't even put close to the same dollar amount value per pound. So I wonder, like, as we go through and, people eventually will stop using pre-bottled nutrients and realize that they can mix their own salts at their giant facilities that are millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Once we get past that point, where do you think cannabis is going to end at a price point per pound?
Ooh, that's a
once
good
we get into this level,
question.
because there's going to be a bottom dollar, and I'm
Yeah,
wondering
it's
if
a
it's
really
below
good
$500.
question.
So
Well, that's all contingent on how low of a price point you can get per gram. I mean, if you can produce a gram for 4 cents and you can sell a gram for twice as much as you produced it for, which is 8 cents, what does that look like?
I can tell you in Zimbabwe, we could produce for about $9 a pound. So imagine if you had, you know, people that are in countries like that that can have the time and labor that can do large scale stuff. That's what I think that's where you're going to have, you know, competition on the global market, you know, I think is the only real threat to some of that. But that's the race to the bottom market. That's like the Philip Morrises and stuff. Most of us aren't going to smoke any of that shit anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're after the craft market and all that. But I think that once Colombia and Africa and Central America open up, you're going to see low prices that you never thought were possible.
I'm actively working on Colombia right now. So we have two different people that have licenses that we're looking to partner up with. And when we're looking at the demographic in Colombia, it's far different, and it's a way dramatically different price point. I mean, they're like a gram here that might sell for like, you know, $3 or $4 is going to sell down there for maybe 15 to 70 cents.
I thought you were going to say dollars. I heard the 15. I'm like, what? No, that's a commodity though, right there. That's a typical agricultural commodity.
Yeah.
That's something else that's crazy. Like in Thailand, the people are still getting like 300-400 an ounce for some of the super high end stuff. And then they have low stuff that the military is providing going for like, you know, 20-40. So there's a huge variation.
And there's always going to be, cost conscious consumers, but there's always going to be people who want craft. And in the US market, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of these big farms just not be able to push product because nobody wants it. And everybody really, like, I think the larger brands didn't realize that, like, cannabis is different as a business because it's so community oriented that, you know, people want to smoke good weed. Even if people can't afford good weed, they still want to smoke the best weed. And so they're always going to try to get the best thing that they can afford. And it's that mentality that it comes to cannabis that is moving those more craft farms that are going to be able to sustain those. And that's what's, I believe, is kind of keeping those larger players down.
Oh, no, and I super believe in supporting local growers. If they're growing fireweed, you know, they deserve the, you know, $200, $300, $400 an ounce for those better quality stuff. But it is nice to have that, you know, super dirt weed, cheap weed that is there at least for the people that just need their bag of weed that can't afford anything else.
You know what? Nobody smokes mids forever. You know what I mean? Nobody smokes mids forever.
That's true.
Exactly.
I mean, the only reason I smoked Mexican brick weed was because, one, back then it was hard to find chronic when you're a 15-year-old kid. And two, that's all I could afford.
Yeah. I remember me and my buddies all throw in like $3, $4, and we could afford enough to buy a gram bag or a dime bag so we could roll a blunt and roll around trying to find a place to smoke it.
Yeah. And that's the same story with, I think, a lot of us. We would, you know, throw in our $5, we'd come up with maybe $30. We'd go get a couple of 40s and a dime or a 20 sack of some Mexies, and we'd go jam out the band room, you know.
Oh yeah. And welcome, Josh. He's doing a dab.
You gotta hit him. Yeah, gotta hit him mid-toke, man. Mid-toke.
Got the slurper. He's got the slurper going too. Fuck.
It tears me up, but I'm smoking that Gap Chunky.
Oh, nice. How is it, man? I've got some vegging right now.
Nice. You got the cuts?
I got I got seeds. Yeah, I did a bunch of seeds.
Oh yeah, it's even better to look through it yourself. Then you can see the lay of the land.
What's the profile on that Cap Junkie? Is it?
It's like, dude, the Kush is coming back and it's coming back hard. This is like, but we're still a couple of years from like, I would say even like 3 to 5 years from like the heyday of a real Kush revival. But it's cushy. It's very cushy. It's a sweet cushy, not like a sweet cola cushy, but just a sweet, like, oh, that's OG Kush. That lends sweet. All right. I like it.
Oh, wait. So for me, do you mean like OG or do you mean Kush? Because like I did a lot of like PK, and then like the OGs were always like more sour to me, and then the Kushes were like more coffee,
sweet.
earthy.
No, it's more sweet, coffee, earthy, but like turn that to put a little perfume on it,
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
the
Like
OG.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you like leaning rose or violet? Like, are you talking like what end of perfume?
Rose for sure. Rose. Yeah. Good,
nice.
good terminology to help me out with. Definitely more rose, bubblegummy kind of thing.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
Noticed the mint was really popular up in Washington when I was there last week. Like, everything was really minty that was on the upper end.
Interesting. What were you smoking? Like, what was, do you remember any of the labels?
And one
Such
was
a bummer that we were so
Bubba's
close and yet so far.
And then I did get a hold of some Akaya stuff. Like multiple people had some Pacific Northwest roots, so we had plenty of good stuff to smoke. But this is a little sample of some of the stuff we were smoking on this weekend.
Color means nothing to me, bro.
Oh, I know. I don't mind darker rosins. I think people get a little
They get
overly
a little stupid on these light
Usually
rosins.
when
That means recreational boof pre-harvest.
Usually when I see really, really light rosin, it makes me think that they harvested like weeks before they should have.
Welcome to Washington.
Yeah.
It's week 6. Chop it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
London, do you want to, we didn't get a chance to fully introduce you there because we kind of got a little sidetracked. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody about the different shows and stuff that you do? And
by the way, coolest background or scenario situation that you're hanging out in, I think you got us all beat. I mean, the fish are not too bad, but you're outside. Is it outside or in a grow room? I can't tell.
Yeah, well, it turns into a greenhouse in the winter. So like I'll throw the tape over, and we live in a pretty small space, and I do the best with what I have. I got a 4x8 grow tent behind me, and then I got like kind of, I would say, pot gardening where everything grows through, and mulch and kind of mixed method, and then a further back garden. But yeah, this all gets domed over, and I keep my moms and stuff in here during the winter. But right now it's mostly veg and my vegetative plants and like an auto flower that's not doing super great. A lot of mold, a lot of problems, and some big giant stuff. So yeah, thanks. I love my little space. It's pretty awesome. I do those that I've seen on Future Cannabis Product. I do a couple shows, Future Cannabis for Breakfast, the Dank Hour. I do the background work for Joe to Herb's Grow and Tell on Thursdays. There's Planting Seeds with Mr. Trees. I've got some other shows coming up. We've got an awesome show highlighting women in the cannabis industry. We've got a glass working show coming that's going to be really cool. We're pairing with some awesome people. Like, these are like hush hush, maybe I shouldn't be dropping them, but maybe keep your eyes out for things that are happening in the future. But yeah, we've got a ton of content that we're going to be dropping from the Unicorn Cup as well, which will be absolutely nuts. We recorded for like 3 days straight. We got a great biopic of the community in the Kootenays, and we're able to really connect with a lot of people. But if there's anything that I would like to bring up at this certain point in time, there's this weird thing going on in BC where okay, so all the cannabis in BC, when it comes to licensed producers, whether it be micro or macro, goes through the BC cannabis system. Up until very recently, they have a direct to sale system. But right now, there's a giant strike and it's unionized, so there's no cannabis going out to any of the privately owned stores. There is cannabis going out to the publicly owned stores in BC. So you're literally having mom and pop shops run by 2 people that started their small business like a block away, have a brand new BC store open a block away from them, and now they have to close their doors because they can't even get product off that's on the shelves at the BC store down the street that's owned by the government. So it's like we literally have these people pushing out small businesses. We're going to be interviewing them over the next couple of days and trying to get them up live because this is like, it's wrong. You know, they're able to open up stores and they're not allowed to price match or compete against the BC store prices. So like they can price cheaper, they can outprice everyone no matter what. So no matter where they open a store, they can always outprice them.
So
we have somebody order.
Calculated.
State-owned stores? Is that what you mean when you call them?
Yeah,
publicly?
there's government stores and there's privately owned stores, and
so the government stores are pushing out the privately owned stores, is what you're saying.
Well, they're closing their
calculated
doors
risk
this
for
week because they
market
can't
share.
even get product. They actually have to close their doors up because their stores are out of product. But the BC store down the street gets to stay open with their product on the shelves.
I sense a lawsuit coming down the road.
Huge. But like, so we were chatting with some of the dispensary owners out here that went from the transition from legacy to legal and this new space, and it's fucked, man. They had 35 to 40 employees that were getting paid well, like really, really good fucking money. And they had an industry that was built that was supplying the economy with a ton of tax revenue and everything. And then this transition fucking happened, and they have, and year on year since legal cannabis has happened federally in Canada, that business has lost money and taken money out of the taxpayers and not contributed a penny, like not a penny into local politics or anything into our local economy. That's like the biggest tragedy of an industry destroyed. It's just kind of like the biopic that we're going to be digging into. So if you guys want to see something fucked up, that we're going to be hosting that up in the next little while. We're going to interview these business owners and see their challenges and probably try and get the farms that are influenced by this as well, that are affected in middle of drops, that are mom and pop, one person owned. So it's just, yeah, it's fucked up.
Does that create a glut of supply?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is because there's only BC stores, so people will go to those because all these other ones will be closed. They're going to be open regardless after the union strike is over anyways. But the big thing that'll happen is you'll get a lot of movement to the traditional market or to the indigenous market. And that's where everybody will go to. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, you know, like there's a lot of people that have invested all their time, money, and earnings as very small micros at this point in time and just like their entire life. And
I'm sorry,
getting
London.
fucked out
I'm a
of it.
little slow. Can you back up for me just to maybe other people missed it if I missed it, but what's the union strike like that is holding out against the private stores?
So
That's a really good question too, because those are always usually unions are always backed by.
Is it like a union growers or that's where I'm getting.
It's a union of workers. So essentially, all cannabis and liquor in BC that is sold comes in and is distributed by the BC province. So it's distributed by the government and then resold either to public or private stores that are owned by the government or owned by other people, right? And so same, though both the liquor and the BC, when they created the legal cannabis space, both were affiliated and created and connected in conjunction. So right now there's a renegotiation on the contracts because these people are getting grossly underpaid for what their jobs are and performances are and what they need to do and what the cost of living here is in BC, because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Sure.
So they're striking for an absolutely amazing reason. And I totally get it, but the problem is that it's that because these people are the distribution.
Because there's limited workers, they're choosing to give the government stores only, and not distribute to the private. That's
exactly.
That's what you're saying. Got you.
Exactly.
Okay. Middleman is on strike, but yeah, that'll be interesting to be explained or to find the precedent of where the priority sits. When any of these businesses go out of business. I don't know what the laws are up there, but it'll be interesting to see where the priority shakes out and why they can say this group gets it and this group doesn't.
37 well-paid employees prior to the full transition of legalization this one business had. They're now down to 5, and they're probably going to have to lay them off next week. 37 employees, well-paid, equitable jobs, gone in 2 years. And one business. That is absolutely heartbreaking. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
I heard I think I might have even seen it on IG that a lot of the big cannabis companies in Canada are like collapsing, and they're also destroying like massive amounts of product up there.
I haven't heard about destruction. There's talk of a lot of it being shipped to foreign countries, and that's how a lot of the sales transitions are going through. So that's how any of the larger companies are still making, but they're shutting down front and center right now. The only one that's doing well is Pure Sun Farms that I've heard about, and they're one of the largest greenhouses in cannabis in Canada. Probably they're just absolutely huge, and they're pairing with cookies, so they're doing the cultural side, so they're doing a little bit of a blend with it, so they'll turn out okay. But it's and they're government supported and run by a bunch of it's fucked. It's weird and terrible. And I'm going to do a dab of some Kandahar Maroof Red from Mr. Trees.
I was hearing that the other day on one of the shows I did, the High on Homegrown. They always like to do news articles, and one of theirs was I believe it was like 25% of inventory. I'm going to try to Google that now, but yeah, like 25% of product or flour had to be destroyed. Let's see. Oh, it'll probably take me longer to find it, but you're definitely onto something there. There was a lot of stuff that was getting destroyed, a lot of product. And I don't know whether it was because they couldn't move it or what the deal was, but
in Canada, they had, what was it, Aurora or Canopy built the one by the airport in Toronto, and then didn't account for the jet fuel and jet exhaust and the HVAC, and had like jet fuel detectable on the actual plant material. Like,
holy crap.
How do you fuck that up? Like, how do you not just, when you're at the property, just stand back and look at the planes overhead? Like, I don't understand how anyone let that go through and spend that amount of money. It's just one of those things where, so they make all kinds of stupid mistakes. I feel like the bigger guys, do more stupider shit than the little guys, because the little guys are constantly double checking more.
Terrified about being shut down. They don't want to get shut down. They're like, oh my God, I'm so worried about everything. And the big guys are like, well, it's a fine. Fuck, who cares?
425 million grams of unpackaged dried flour destroyed last year. 26% of dried flour, total dried cannabis product, January to December 2021. Yeah. Fuck. Who's picking up the bill on that one?
Right.
You gotta think
Growers.
about, the companies that just like are hemorrhaging money. And I mean, I've seen it out in Oklahoma too. I've seen farms that have been operating at like $60,000 a month losses, and it's like, holy crap. It's like,
it's crazy because a populated town with a high volume of dispensaries, like in Saskatchewan, that services 300,000 people, the amount of dispensaries in the town currently allows for an average daily sale of about $1,000 worth of product. You got to build the business, own your property on $30,000 to $31,000 of sales a month. And that's gross, right? Like, it's too high a volume. The product isn't that's not an equitable, profitable business. Like, who's opening these things? Doesn't make any sense. It's all fucking weird.
People who got into it when they think they were making about 5 times that per gram. And then everybody got established and got to save money. Got to find out where that margin lies. Like Brandon was saying earlier, it's a race to find the most efficient method of doing this.
Well, the other frustrating thing too is a lot of times people will be like, oh, we'll save on this for now and we'll deal with it later. And it's like, if you just spent like 5 or 10% more, you wouldn't have had, so many of your problems. I've seen that happen so much in Oklahoma, where they had spent just a little bit more on equipment or something, it would have completely changed the outcome of their grow. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that, especially when it comes to climate control out here. People do not take it seriously, and they fry crops regularly.
I've seen one company in the state build 3 facilities, a couple $1 million each, because their first one had bugs. So they built another one, and they took clones from the first facility. And guess 2 years later, reached the same point and they did it again, but they've been profitable. So they do it. It's weird. And they're one of the they're one of the
that's
top
insane.
producers in the state, man.
Is this a Panda deal?
No,
Yeah,
it's not Panda. It's usually the one there's like three and they
Right
usually
below
go
him,
back and forth.
Artisan. It probably is artisan because don't say it, but it probably is because I saw them like they were there in the beginning and then they went away and then came back. Let's leave it at that. Dutch, shut the fuck up.
But yeah, it's kind of it's mind-blowing sometimes the people that have the money to throw around. And I don't necessarily think this was all investor money, but people are able to make mistakes. And those are the ones I think that are probably paying for it. You know, the Canadian ones right now. Mike Tyson has a
Ric Flair's now got a weed line now that he retired from wrestling. Good example of people that have a lot of money that have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. See, perfect. That shit pisses me off, man. When there's like, and Ric Flair gets a pass. Woo!
Yeah,
he gets
the
a
nature
pass,
boy.
but-
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Nature
he
boy's
gets
gotta
a
get
pass.
I'm just
but
saying.
there's just-
He's probably never grown a weed plant. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and there's so
Agreed.
many celebrities that could have done something
I grow wheat plants.
long before it was legal, or could have said something or took a stance, but fucking let's just
No.
make a profit off of it now.
Yeah.
That I take that a little personally. Like, I don't know.
Well, we touched on some of the legalization stuff, and in fact, we have a resident expert, Brandon Rust, on what's going on in Oklahoma. But what's going on with the situation with the various ballots right now? I know you're very hip on the latest. I know that the states fuck up might possibly not put it legalization on the ballot, which seems very intentional. And
No, that's not actually what happened. So 820 did pass. It didn't pass. They got enough signatures for it, but they're not going to be. But once it is passed, they actually have to write the law, and the law has to be approved with verbiage and everything else. And that takes time, and they are absolutely not ready. They did not even start the process. And so 820 is not going to be implemented into law. And so I was told that we probably won't get adult use for another 2 years. So we were trying to push 818 and 819 really hard, but we also had this crazy heat wave during summer where we've had 45 days of triple digit heat, which really hindered the ability to get our people on the ground pounding pavement to get signatures that you usually have to do to get something implemented. And not only that, but with metric and the whole debacle with them basically screwing over even people that were in metric, everything was compliant. The metric system itself, the software, was fucked up, and it just completely stopped a lot of businesses. It took a lot of focus from the businesses that would have benefited, that were trying to promote 818 and 819, because they're trying to scramble to fix all of these things and try to get a hold of people to help them get their product into metric, or figure out how come their metric tested batches aren't going through the system. And so there was a bunch of bullshit with that. The new plan is to take all of the legal language from 818, 819 and combine it together in a single bill, which will be 823. And since we've already built the infrastructure for, distribution and getting signatures and things like that, it should be a little easier to get that bill passed. And it's exactly the same thing. It's just all put into one packet, and it is also constitutional. So this isn't a statutory bill that can just be changed every year, because that's the biggest problem, right? Is we have these laws that aren't written into the state's constitution. And so every year when session begins, cannabis has a big target on its back, because people in politics and people in government that have no experience with cannabis at all, they still see it as this massively profitable business, and they think that they can just extract as much as they can from it. And it's really not the case. We're working with real thin margins already. And then every time we get an added tax or more regulations like forced metric, that increases our labor costs and increases, our actual, the money that we have to spend to tag plants. And so it becomes becomes a real nightmare from a business standpoint. And we want to fight back against metric. So metric would have to be reevaluated, but we already have a class action lawsuit, and everybody who's in Oklahoma, they've been negatively affected. I advise them to go to ommalawsuit.com and get as much information and participate in what's going on, because it's only collectively that we can push against big corporate superpowers and these legislators who are super uneducated that want to just extract finance from all of our businesses.
Oklahoma's really done a lot to organize. You also have ORCA. Do you want to tell people about ORCA?
Yep.
For those that don't know.
ORCA stands for Oklahoma Responsible Cannabis Action. And it is a grassroots organization that is based out of Oklahoma City. And it's Jed Green is the founder. He is also the gentleman that wrote 788, which in the way it was written originally, it was amazing. It was great. And so we want to keep 788 intact, the medical program, even if we get recreation. And so he's written in so that there's no confliction in the legal language, and medical and rec would be separate, and they would have different tax structures and things like that. When it comes down to it, though, we do have a target on our back every year when we go into session. They want to change laws, do this, and then there's also companies that'll put together lobby groups. I actually had this is super weird to me because I've been in like prison a bunch of times, and like I don't like law enforcement, I don't like politicians, but I had the state senator and the chief. He was the retired chief of the Oklahoma State Police, and they called me up together because they wanted to get educational information. They were trying to start a lobby group, and I spent probably an hour on the phone with them. And when it comes down to it, the types of people that are starting these lobbying groups and stuff like that, they don't know enough information to be doing those jobs. And the only reason they are able to do those jobs is because they're connected with other politicians, and they're able to like move things forward from that perspective. But it's really like, there's a lot of people who are coming into cannabis that may not be on the cultivation or sales side, that are in the political arena or the lobbying or, that type of thing. And it really, really takes away from what we're doing, because those people that are doing that are just as uneducated as the lawmakers. And so when you get two uneducated groups of people trying to make comprehensive decisions about something that they know nothing about, we end up in just a pot waiting in a pile of shit as
bucket of crap
business owners, as patients. And it can be really frustrating.
It's misguided whether the intentions are in the best interests or not. We saw that here with the collapse of the medical system. A lot of the influence and a lot of the, the birds in the ear, they had vested interests in it, or they just didn't know how to get it done. It's cool that you are linking up with people, and you're probably going to be finding other groups around the country too. I always throw it back to music. Music's my background, but artists need managers. And it's like growers need lobbyists, because you can't be both.
Yeah. The thing is, though, you need people who are educated in the space. You don't need an ex-chief of police and an ex-state senator who collectively work together to incarcerate people and keep, it's like,
yeah, Yeah.
the people that you want, and it's like, hey, we want to represent you and your business and this and that, but we want $5,000 a month. Are you like, no, I'm not interested, because you can't do anything for me. You have nothing to offer. You don't have anything to offer the community.
You guys want to take a dab with me?
I wish I had a dab rig, man. I
Or
wish I could take dab rigs and dabs on an airplane and just be like,
just buy a
Alright,
rig.
Can I have a minute to unchaz?
I'll let up some
I am
hash,
definitely
man.
Yeah,
not
yeah, we can
buying
wait. I'll
dabs
wait.
from a dispensary in Chicago.
Oh yeah, we have. Was
Do
it?
what you
Yeah,
gotta
11
do. Take your time. When
Get some
we can all
bubble.
light up at the same time when everyone's ready.
Yes. A little ball of bubble for you. Oh, this is gonna be nice.
Since
Let's talk about what we're gonna smoke.
Yeah, what are you guys all smoking on? What's your guys' like go-to right now? Your new favorite thing? What's that profile look like?
My
Kool-Aid
go-to
man.
is usually what's in what I have. But what I have right now is Medellin and Ghost OG Lime Pop Kush, and I'm leaning heavy on the Ghost OG Lime Pop Kush. The Medellin is also fucking awesome, but
What's the Medellin? That's like a cookies thing, right?
it's a Chem D type deal. Chem D type cookies deal. I don't know. I've heard different stories on what it actually is, but when you smell it, it smells Chem D. Structure is not Chem D. It's more pancake flour structure.
That
But then when you
from aficionado.
no, just I mean pancake.
Like, it's the stacked.
Yeah, the way the flour forms. Yeah,
Okay,
versus the nodal structure of the GMO. But when it translates to the smoke, it's super gassy and a little bit gnarly. Not like the GMO, even though on the nose it's like that. So it's a good one. I like it. It's really cool.
got some
It's
rosin.
very potent. It's like 36% in the flour.
Got some rosin from Queen of the Sun Grown. She'll be on my show tomorrow, Growing with Fishes. So shout out to
She's out in
her.
Oklahoma too, right?
What's that?
She's out in Oklahoma too, right?
No, she's in Washington actually.
Oh, Washington.
But she was in Oklahoma the other week.
Yeah, they were doing some stuff with Jordan Rivers, I think.
Yep. Poor Jordan, he got sick.
More people are popping out of Washington. It's cool. The event you just went to was in Washington. Super dope.
It's definitely interesting having a mushroom festival at a Christian children's campground. I've never.
Oh, interesting.
I bet the murals were fun at least.
Oh yeah, dude! They had this mural, and it really looked like Alfred and young Bruce Wayne. Like Jesus looked like Alfred, and the kid looked like little Bruce Wayne, like from the cartoons. It was pretty great.
That sounds dirty.
We've got some weird shit in Washington, like the old like MMA fights. Like one of the local productions would always do them at the Shriners Club, which was like embedded deep, like in this golf course. So you're kind of like driving through the little street, and you get there, and it has all the the pageantry that goes along with it. But you walk inside, and it's like a ring and a beer garden. Weirdest place. Never would have placed it there.
Dude, we have the most awesome event out in Oklahoma City. It's called the Canna Grudge matches, and it's mixed martial arts meets like a sesh. And so it's super wild, but it's also like if you got beef with somebody in the cannabis industry, you can call them out and go to the ring and duke it out.
Dude,
That's
sign me up.
Wait,
Yeah,
everybody
I can
was
think of
kung
two
fu.
people.
Like, do you
Everybody
get like
talking
big
about smoking?
sumo suits to
literally
like play,
everyone I've been in
or
the vet
you're
with,
getting
sign
hurt?
me
Yeah,
up.
like,
Chad, me and you, bro. Let's go. Me and
Oh,
you.
dude.
I'm ready to go.
all
Me
day
and you.
long.
Come on.
all day
We'll
long.
start this beef. We'll start this beef today, and we'll hold
Hey.
it until we fight.
Yeah, like 3 rules: like no pulling the hair, no nut shots, and no eye gouges. We're cool.
it's
You're a biter, though,
You
aren't you?
just
You look
took
like a
all my
biter.
moves away from me.
So they have like, they're not professional fights. They're not professionals, but they're mixed martial arts. They're people who are, working their careers. There's real refs there. I mean, there's a ring there. It's not just like a backyard brawl. It's fully set up, and it's like you can challenge people, and then they'll schedule those fights so that when those people are going to fight. And then
Brandon, are you a fighter?
That could be.
I am
Dude,
so
they have
good
like
to go,
a
Chad.
bar
I'm
there.
so good to go,
you can
Chad.
Smoke. It's like the whole facility. Everybody's just lighting up. People are, drinking beers, and it's wild.
That would be kind of fun. And the key ingredient there is the ref, though. The ref's there to like stop the stupid shit. But sometimes you just need to get smacked or want to smack somebody.
So it's kind of a cool thing, it's fun. I've gone to quite a few of them, and I mean, they have them like once a month out here.
They have some pretty
That's
cool
awesome.
stuff. Down at Bubba's Brew House, they have like midget wrestling, which is always really fun. And then they have like regular old Southern style backyard wrestling. They have all kinds of stuff out here that's just you don't get on the coast.
Yeah. I got to see some midget wrestling at one of the cannabis events, I think like last year, and they're actually doing midget wrestling at that same venue where they do the fights, I think this weekend.
Don't know if my brain could fully handle that.
There's a fight promotion out there called Triller, and they do just like the most random stuff. Like they'll have the 2-on-1, like 2 amateurs versus 1 professional, and then they had a phone booth fight the last time. These 2 dudes in a phone booth just like and they had their rounds. They got to like turn around. Bell rings. It was pretty awesome.
See, like you're not going to see this in San Francisco. You're just not. Watching a midget dive off into the front row.
Yeah, but you can definitely see that in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You can see that like pretty frequently in Oklahoma.
London, what kind of surgery are you doing over there, bro?
I'm like trying to get the last of the dragonfly earth medicine. They have some shortcake cookie gold stuff that they sent me for my wedding day. And there's like one last toke over there. I'm like trying to get it stoked up and get it out there because it's something special. I'm like, this is a cool night. There's some dope people. I'm going to smoke the last of this cool special thing.
It's kind of getting late for me. I'm going to have to head out. I have to get up at, the butt crack of the morning tomorrow to fly back to Oklahoma. So I'm going to tap out, guys, but I appreciate you guys having me on here, and definitely looking forward to doing it again.
Man, thanks for coming.
That was awesome, man. Thanks for sharing earlier. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Growers love everybody.
See
ya. Happy growing,
this
brother.
up and see if this thing bubbles here. Let's see.
If it don't bubble, it ain't worth the trouble, they say.
I'm not sure what happened to Steve.
That's bubbling. Yeah.
For the show. So hopefully he'll come by. If not, I'm sure he'll come next week.
That's got the bubble.
When are you
when am I shipping off?
Flight?
Sometime in the second half of September. I'm just still working out dates and stuff, getting contracts finished and all that fun stuff. All the fun part.
Are we going on this? Is this happening? Is it time?
Oh yeah, I'm taking off to Thailand to go work for a project for Breeder Steve.
Light her up. Light her up.
Oh, okay, light her up. Fire it up. Fire it up.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So London, I'm curious. Mom Cup. That's kind of a weird name. What does mom stand for?
Mail order marijuana cup.
See, that makes sense. Okay. And it is a mouthful.
Is this your event that you're putting on? Who's putting on this event?
He was mid-toke.
He's mid-toke. Take your toke. Take your time. Don't feel like you need to answer that question at any time soon. It can linger for the next 3 minutes. We're all good, bro.
We're just sitting here waiting for you.
Yeah.
Hate to make
We're
you
still
wait,
waiting, but we're still good.
enjoyable. It's those cold starts, you know. Fucking, they take some time. So Asia Moon or May Moon, I'm not too sure. There's not a lot of like marketing material out there for it, but apparently they've got some sponsors and they're pulling together a few things. It's out in Hope. There's a judges pack. There's some competition. Again, I haven't received a shit ton of info. I've gotten their list, and we do have. All right, what do we got? We got May Moon starting the ceremony. Neil Magnuson.
I thought that was the skateboarder. Damn it.
420 Professor, Glenn Wells and Canamatch. And then the following day we got Ken on, John Berfello, and then a glass show and Glenn Wells and Canamatch again in the afternoon. And then Ken again, Tamara Wright, Dennis Biovert or something. So yeah, cool lineup. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be streaming it and checking that out. Unfortunately, like I haven't been able to dip into it that hard, but it seems like a cool event. We're just trying to like go to as many live events as we can and just set up and do some recordings and share what we can and help the community as much as possible.
That's awesome. Do you know what the website is? I'm trying to find it here.
Nothing.
The mail.
There's a Facebook group called the Three Cats.
Was it mail order mail?
Yeah, like that. That's got to be an easy contest to get all your entries in. Send it through the mail.
Is that's specific Canadian though, right? Like Canadian.
Yeah,
weed
that's in the BC region. It sounds like they have a lot of extracts and a lot of solvent-based extracts. I was just doing the Unicorn Cup, and we did do the tastings for all the products for the Unicorn Cup and the judging for all of them live, and we did all the personal production and the rosin category and all of that, and there was some really awesome stuff. It's very interesting, but we just haven't had the time to go. I haven't had the opportunity to go into it. They were like 1 week away from each other, so it's just like I don't have the time. Like one cup after another with 5 days of camping, 3 kids and a wife. You know, it's just got a little bit crazy. It's still going a little bit nuts at this point in time, but it's starting to calm down.
So sorry I missed that event. The Unicorn Cup. I really shit the bed there.
It's all good. We missed you. We were talking about you a whole bunch. The content that we're going to drop, Joshua. Oh my God. It's so cool.
Cool. I'm excited.
It would have been way cooler to have you be a part of it and have Potent.
I'm bummed I missed it. I felt really bummed. Still feel bummed.
I'll go once they get rid of Captain Blackface and open the borders back up to people that are unvaccinated.
Dirty non-jabber like myself, eh?
Yes. Yeah, that was something I noticed in Washington, man. People are real uppity about that shit. It is kind of surprising that shit's still going on.
Which way? It depends where you're at, but
yeah, that's true.
There isn't much middle in this state.
Yeah, definitely noticed that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, how was the environment? Because you guys were out in the woods. You were near the base of Mount Rainier, weren't you?
Yep, we were out by Rainier. Yeah, actually, we were at the base of Rainier, I guess, now that I think about it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really nice. It was really warm the first day. And the last day. What's that?
See any elk?
No, I did see elk shit and mule deer shit, but someone thought it was bear shit, and I was like, no, it's just elk shit. You're good. Relax. And
what tipped you off? Was it the hair?
No, I've spent a lot of time in Colorado tracking, and I've gone actually elk hunting.
Steve is the weirdest fucking
backcountry.
dude. Like, he used to trap like birds of prey. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone know that about Steve?
No.
Yeah, no, he used to have a career trapping birds of prey.
That's a baller.
Did you two meet on the mountain somewhere while you were climbing it and he was catching birds of prey? Because I totally see that fucking happening.
Total
Falconeer. Like, oh, you found my secret growing spot on the side of this fucking mountain with your bird of prey. Like, fuck me. Greatest story of all time ever written. Your greatest cannabis camaraderie story ever.
Trying to find I have an eagle pick too, but I have this one I can throw up real quick. So this is me with a red tail. When I was a kid. Well, I was like 9th grade, 10th grade, something like that.
Wow. Looks
We
like
used
an
to-
owl with big wings.
That's a
Those
red
ones
tail
are
hawk.
pretty. Yep. But I have one with a big golden eagle. I'm trying to find that one. Anyways, yeah, I used to do bird banding. We'd catch them, we'd band them, we measure their wing cord, which is like from their elbow to the tip of the wing, check their crop and see if they have food in it, and the fat in their armpits and stuff. That's where they store their extra fat if they're eating well. And then we'd weigh them and check them for like any of their health issues, and then we release them. It was a lot of fun.
That'd be cool. They probably took you to some pretty remote areas, I'd imagine, some cool spots.
Mostly on the Appalachian Trail, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Appalachian Trail runs what from? It's along the East Coast, right? Kentucky, Tennessee, or
It goes from Georgia up to Maine.
Georgia up to Maine. Okay. Sorry, I'm a Pacific Crest Trail guy over here on the West Coast. You know, we go from Canada to Mexico.
It's where we were joking about that at the thing. That's where how Sasquatch smuggles the drugs from Mexico to Canada.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's been lucrative.
Is it with young Outward Bound students?
Right. All the
Oh,
trimmigrants.
shit. Is this live?
Yeah. All the trimmigrants that no longer have jobs in Northern California.
Sasquatch.
Few people are gonna Google that later and be like, what the fuck is she talking about? Outward Bound? What?
Trying to find this in the picture. I can't find it. It's all right. Have you guys ever seen like actual like construction bamboo?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
it's
Honestly,
fucking
Yeah, like shit like the size of my leg.
No.
You feel like an ant, man, when you're in those groves. It's fucking gnarly. That's down in Jamaica.
That's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
I can't find this picture. Anyways, I'll find it at some point. I saw it earlier.
What are you looking for?
I have a picture with me with a big ass eagle.
Oh, the eagle, golden eagle. Yes.
What other things have you guys been up to? Anything else interesting?
I stumbled upon a wolf den yesterday. I was
That's-
out doing my thing in the bush, and I could smell like dead, rotting meat in the air.
Oh,
And
wow.
I actually thought I was in grizzly territory, so I actually thought I might be around a grizzly kill, that because they'll have a tendency to bury their kills and then come back to them when the meat's fermenting. So I was like, fuck, am I around a kill? I'm like, I don't want to be around a kill. And I walked up on the bank, and then as soon as I walked up on the bank of the creek I was tying, I could see a hole into the bank, and I kind of looked in. I could see like one eye looking kind of out at me, and I just backed the fuck off, man. It was fucking scary as shit.
Yes.
wow.
I think Josh missed it. So this is a golden eagle. This is the biggest one we ever caught. This is a
Damn, that's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
her torso is the size, almost the size of mine in that picture.
Yeah.
She's massive.
How big is their wingspan? It's like 3 to 5 feet, isn't it?
No, on her it was over 8 feet.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah.
huge birds. They're
Yep.
ginormous.
They're
Yeah, they're bigger than
massive.
bald eagles.
Yep, they're the biggest bird in North America, except for like swans and cranes. They're the biggest
Shit.
predator bird. Yeah.
What does that feel like? Because that's an 8-foot wingspan, man. Like seeing that animal, what flap that is bigger than like that's 2 small humans or like 1 1/4 really big people. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
Man, that thing is taking your little dogs. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, this so you have to hold on with all your strength with both hands when that thing starts to flap, because that's about all you can do. Otherwise, if you let go, it's just gonna get you. But yeah, we catch them with the bigger ones like that. We would we had like a small vest, like a small man's vest, we put that on them to hold their wings in to keep them under control. And we'll tie the legs together and put a hood over their head so that they calm down. Once you have them a hood over their head, they're pretty chill to deal with. You can, we used to put them in cans, so like coffee cans, and then like the frozen juice cans and stuff that had holes in the end, so they got plenty of air, but you could keep them fully detained while you're working on them, and you could weigh them and put the band on them and everything, and not have them, squirming the hell all over the place.
Do you throw a net over them at first?
So how we catch them? Actually, that's a good question. So we have these giant. I wonder if I can find a picture. I don't think I have a picture of the bow net, but I can explain what a bow net is. So think of like a bear trap closes like this, right? So you have two pieces down and it slams shut on the leg. So instead of that, you start it with it closed, and the springs want to shoot it open. So you have like a 6 or 8 foot in diameter, really lightweight metal frame that you have out of almost like a reverse bear trap that has like cargo net on it, like a lighter cargo netting on it. And you have a pigeon that's on, it has a leather vest on like a heavy fish swivel, and you tie it off on a line on like a loop. And then you put a pulley up on a post on the side of the platform that you're going to run the trap on. And then you attach it to there, and then put the pigeon on it. And then that goes down to a hole with a piece of PVC pipe in the center. So it doesn't get friction much on the rope. And then that's where the pigeon goes. So that centers the bird on the trap. So what you do is you pull the pigeon up towards the pole and then down towards the center of the trap, and it flaps its wings and looks all injured and screwed up and like something's wrong. And you can catch a bird from 6 or 8 miles away. We'll see that shit and go into a stoop and come diving down. Man, that is so cool to watch when they're way the hell out there and you see them tuck their wings from like, a mile or more out, and they're just dive bombing that pigeon. And right when they're about to hit the pigeon, you pull they come in to hit the pigeon, and you time it right, and you pull the trigger, and it shoots the net over top of them, and then they freak out and they let go on their back and they grab onto the net, and then you just grab their ankles and then you got them. It's pretty easy.
It's like Jurassic Park, man. You're seriously like sacrificing the pigeon for the fucking T-Rex over there.
We lose a pigeon maybe once every 3 or 4 years. We have like a pretty thick, heavy leather.
You don't
vest.
even let them have some pigeon? God damn it.
No, dude, save the pigeon,
Guy gets
man.
caught,
I know they're flying rats, but
man, look at them. They're dime a dozen.
What was hilarious is so like PetSmart and Petsco have like a 60-day guarantee.
You rented your pigeons? You fucking
man.
rented your
No, we
pigeons.
would return them after we picked him up with the fucking falcon. He's like, no,
Don't know what's wrong
man,
with
I want a
Steven.
refund. Give me another
So
one.
if you ever got a parakeet with PTSD,
This is like buying a backpack and going climbing for 2 weeks and then returning it to REI, but it's with a living being.
that's fucked.
that happened a couple of times.
Totally
And I remember one time this lady's like, well, if anything happens to it, like we'll give you another. My mom just like burst out laughing.
No.
It was pretty good. Again, we made little leather vests for them, and even if they made it to them, unless they got them in a hole where like the wing was, or they got them like straight through the head, which is very not normally they grab them and kind of squeeze them and impale them. It's not like the impact that kills them. Peregrines and merlins and a couple of other birds will do that, but they're going to hit stuff in the air. They're not going to hit something like that on the ground. If it's on the ground, they're going to land on it and then kill it. So, as soon as they come near the pigeon, we're going to pull the trap, or we're hands on the trigger. So it's not like we're, it's pretty rare that they actually get a hold of them.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry,
that's
but
good.
from my point of view, your description does not make it seem any better for that poor bird.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's still under the gun. I mean, I can't go around.
Well, it doesn't die. It's pretty close, but not quite dead.
Yep.
We bring you through. It's like torture. It's totally,
It's going to be pretty sure
Just-
it's going to die.
just-
It's going to be
yeah.
contemplate that every
As
time.
sure as shit can be, like, yeah.
Just look at the bird when it's all
It
over
totally
and be like,
thinks you're this hero at the end of it. Like, you saved me again.
you just tell them that it builds character. Send them back to the pet shop. There you go.
If they're gonna go to war with the raptors, they gotta learn. It's like
hell,
trading.
Oh my god.
Too funny.
So, have you? Oh, the other thing I want to mention, which was kind of cool, I went over and sat in on Langston University was teaching at one of the farms I work with out here in Oklahoma, and got a chance to sit down on a college aquaponics course, which I haven't done in quite a long time. So that was kind of neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still kind of stuck on the pigeon wearing the jacket. Just
Like, is it a, like?
Yeah, I was wearing the jacket again, and another hawk came at me.
I'm just
Oh,
saying,
and
you
he
have
saved
lots of
me once
pictures of
again,
the
that motherfucker. I love him.
That guy's the best. Yeah.
Okay, so
You
here
guys
you
don't even
go.
understand.
Dude.
So this is actually I found some pictures.
Do you have
Okay.
the picture?
Oh,
Because I was
no,
gonna say, if you
it's a
only
pigeon
show
just
the
like-
the prey pictures, if you don't show the actual trap ones, it's like, yeah, it's that bad, guys. Like, he didn't even take photos.
Well, no, I have lots of photos. They're all like in physical form because I was young then. We didn't have digital photos yet because
yeah.
I'm old. Let me find I want to show him deploying this trap, and I think I found a video. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of how this shit works. All right, I'm gonna rewind this shit here. So that's how that trap works. And then we would have mist nets behind it. So we'd have like really fine, like strawberry netting, but it was really light. And then they get all tangled in it. And that was like, if they pulled up, then they get caught in that. And that's more of a pain in the ass because I get stabbed and bitten a lot with that one. I got stabbed clean through my hand by a red tail. It just grabbed my hand and it was like right through. I got a whole chunk of my finger bit off by a fucking merlin and like a little chunk of meat cut out. Anyways, I've had all kinds of fun shit trying to get shit out of the mist nets. I don't like them as much as the bow nets.
Oh. Do you ever catch bald eagles? Or you're
Once in a while, we get an immature baldy, but the adults are mostly fish eaters, believe it or not, or carrion eaters. They'll eat like dead deer once something else kills it, or they'll eat fish a lot. But the young ones are the only ones that will really try to kill pigeons and stuff like that. The adults, other than some weird populations, generally don't go after it. We mostly get goshawks, sharpshins, Cooper's hawks, red tails, broadwings, a couple golden eagles. And then once in a while we get a peregrine. Once in a while we get something weird that was out of range. But that was the bulk of what we would catch.
That's crazy.
Never a Seahawk. Never catch a Seahawk.
But like you know what we do? We get one of those Billy Bass that talks and sings. We disconnect the speaker part,
Take
so
me
it's
to
just
the river.
so it's just
That's how
flopping.
you catch a Seahawk.
Oh God, dude. No way.
No, you just get a McDonald's wrapper and flap that. That's how you get a Seahawk.
Bro, people like seriously, this isn't happening anymore. But for like 2 or 3 years, people painted their houses like in cars, like literally Seahawks, fucking garage door, like full on emblem, yeah, trimmed out the whole. It was not like a not common thing.
Yeah, how many cars did you see with the number 12 on the side?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my God, you went for it. At least you fully committed to it, but holy shit. Good luck selling that car. Yeah, dude, there's a house down by the beach. That is me and my wife. Every time we're like, it's the Sea Chicken's house.
Yeah.
Seahawks.
I can hear someone using a saw in the background right now, and I don't.
Oh, you probably hear my tank behind me.
No,
It's
not
probably
not in
Ken.
yours. Like behind me. Like I'm really creeped out at the moment.
How well do you know
No,
your
not at all.
neighbors?
Actually, your mic's covering it pretty well. I
Your
can't hear.
mic is a pretty cool. Is that just a regular musical mic, like a 51? Whatever.
Canadian Chainsaw Massacre.
If I don't come back, I'm dead. Somebody call 911, okay?
Take the mic with you. Come
Fairway
on.
Place, North Vancouver. Give me like, oh, there goes the baby.
Just walk up and try to interview him and be like, "You're live."
What happened to Ken?
You're live.
Did
yeah.
Ken pass out? Where did Ken go?
One arm.
Is Ken getting sawed up right now? Is Ken gonna be in that barrel later? Is this a new
Ken's
kind
the
of
one with the
JFA?
chainsaw.
Oh man, this is some Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit right here. Just gonna see the splash.
What's new with you, Josh? I know you got a whole bunch of new stuff going on.
Just new with me. I've been doing a lot of thinking. Oh yeah, there's my website. I've been doing a lot of thinking and a lot of researching on curveball pizza ovens.
Nice.
Yeah. And I ordered a couple really cool sourdough starters that got here, one yesterday, one today. And I'm gonna plant some veggies, even though I don't fucking eat those because they're not good for you.
Yes.
It's such a fucked up world my head is in right now. Seriously though, I'm gonna plant some veggies, even though I'm not eating them, and I'm gonna start fucking with some pizza. And I don't know. That's where I'm going right now. I'm half green, 3/4 of the greenhouse will be weed, and then it'll be a little pizza garden in there. And I want to start doing some events and bringing some people out to my farm to eat pizza and buy seeds. Yeah, and maybe a clone or two.
Farm
Being
to
a good
table.
pizza maker is a great dad skill.
Yeah,
solid dad skill, 100%.
I agree. I'm really into pizza, and I have been for a while, and I've been trying to. Anyways, I've been deep in the pizza oven game. Like that is some fucking whack shit. You can buy like a pizza oven anywhere from like 2,000 to 20,000. You can spend a lot more than that, but from what I can tell, the kind of optimum one is about $20,000 that I'm interested in.
How many pizzas can you fit in there at one time?
Well, it's not about the size necessarily.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's not. There's a lot of TikTok videos about I've seen, yeah. So I'm only trying to be able to do like a 32 incher in terms of the cook surface, or 46-inch, somewhere in there, where I could do 2 large pizzas, or that would be more than enough. Honestly, it would be a huge amount. I'm not just trying to do personal pizzas. I'm just like literally developing an idea. I don't know where I'm going with this. I want to mix my passions is really what I want to do. And before I moved back to Washington, I've kind of told the story. I went and did veggies in Minnesota for a while, and right as weed was becoming legal here that fall, I almost bought a pizza shop. So this was like 2013, right before they passed. Maybe it was 12. I don't know, right around there. But I was about to buy a pizza shop to put all my aquaponic veggies on that I was growing, and
nice.
So maybe it's full circle that and like fucking pizza and weed. Like, give me a fucking break, right?
Yeah. I had pizza and weed within the last like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying
4 hours.
Really cool if like Chad, you were like, hey, like let's take the weekend and drive to Bellingham. We're gonna go to Dutch's farm. He's open on Friday night. We're gonna eat pizza, and we're gonna buy an ounce of weed, and I'm gonna get that fucking cut I've been wanting to, and we're gonna hang out. And then I don't know, that would be like the coolest thing.
You need some yurts.
I'm there, bro. I'm on it. Yeah.
That would be rad.
Or some buses. Got one.
Ooh, nice.
Bus
that would be fun to renovate too, or to at least do up.
Yep.
That would be cool.
Eat some pizza, smoke some weed. I don't know. That's you asked the question, what I've been doing. That is what I've been doing. I'm growing some plants. I'm breeding some plants. I'm starting to release some seeds, but in my head, I am consumed with pizza oven. Mara Forney, since you didn't ask, that's the brand that I'm into. Mara Forney.
Are you into thick crust or thin crust, or do you go both ways there?
A little bit in between. Like
You want
trained to- I got
crunchy
trained to
crust
do-
with big air bubbles. That's the thing.
Well, yeah. I got trained to do New York pizza. But like I do like a slightly crunchier crust than the New York style when I'm making it for myself. But I do like a bigger pie than like a Neapolitan style, you know. So
Brandon was in Chicago. I almost told him, I was like, oh, ask about the Unos, which I guess Unos is overplayed now, but this was like 40 years ago almost. But being in Chicago, where in the restaurant where they get, they got the Chicago deep dish name from. I've always been a deep dish fan, and I got a friend, he was from Philly, and we would go back and forth on that one. And he's like, that shit ain't pizza, it's a lasagna. What the fuck? I love that guy.
it's all fucking good, honestly. It's all fucking good. The different styles.
Oh, that is quick.
Genius.
That was
Genius.
quick. That's funny, dude. Cheers.
At some point, I'll get better at Photoshop.
That was pretty quick and good. But yeah, that's so I don't know. Like there's a whole depth of pizza ovens. That's the funny thing, right? Like it, and there's brick ovens, and then there's clay ovens, and turns out that I think the best ones are the brick ones. The old school and Italian made. This one, the ones I'm into is an Italian company that came over to LA to make specifically for Americans, and it's like kind of like, all right. Like that's cool. It's a little bit cheaper than shipping in an Italian one, and probably with shipping and everything. I don't know.
You're a pretty handy guy, man. They really are not that challenging.
I am a pretty handy guy in London. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I built a lot of fucking things. But if I watch these videos over and over again, I'm like, man, end of the day, like I don't have no goddamn clue about masonry. I even just doing something square would be a big challenge for me. But in order to like make it super efficient, you want to rely upon the brick and not the mortar. And so someone who's not good at masonry ends up having more mortar in there because they're just like shitty at it, right? That's what I was watching these people do, and I'm like, that's a mortar oven. You know what I mean? Like with some bricks in it, or whatever the fuck it. And so like I'm thinking this through. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I can't be the one. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I need to hire somebody. I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
You could fuck it up three times.
Yes, I can make myself a pizza oven. There's lots of easy ways I could go and make one tomorrow and cook some dope pizza with the clay off my soil. You know what I mean? That's probably the most regenerative thing. But I am not that. Like I really like strive. I have this thing in me that just is for better or worse, strives for the very fucking best. And that's why I put 72 LEDs in my greenhouse. It's 72 LED lights in my greenhouse, and like fucked with all the stupid shit is because I'm like trying to find this thing that is absolute best, like what, like indoor, outdoor, greenhouse. Like I want the best of all of it. You know what I mean? And that's how I am with pizza and like, yeah. So
I might have a cool opinion on pizza ovens.
Give it to me. I'll shut up and listen.
I've got to go. I was before, like I've always kind of been involved with cannabis a little bit, but I was a chef for 15 years and I did a lot of time in Italy. I'm an Italian-based chef.
I didn't know that about you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, not many people do. It's not a big focus. It's not something that I talk about. Well, a lot of what you see on my channels, or like even when you've been on, has been interviewing. Like I talk about other people. I'm not usually the guest, so it's kind of fun. But so the interesting thing about ovens, and I've cooked on from everything from like an Italian inlaid brick oven that's built into the home in a traditional, Tuscan era fucking ancient fucking stove oven that you still burn off. Like I've cooked in those. I've cooked in like decrepit old ones in old ladies' houses, and really when it comes down to it, like even the fancy nice ones and the cool funky ones, like if you really enjoy making pizza and you have a crooked fucking oven and it doesn't work out properly, it's going to be better, 10 times better than any pizza that was put into a larger oven. And that's one thing that I've seen. And it's like, it never really has to do with tools. It has to do with the person using them. And like some of the best pizzas I've ever had have been on the most piece of shit oven I've ever seen in my life. And I've been like, how the fuck do you put out 36 of those every fucking 38 minutes? Like, you know, like you're doing one a minute is coming out of that fucking oven. How the fuck is it possible? It literally is going to fall off the building. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's like one of those exploratory things. And I think it can add a lot of personality into your pizza at the end story of it when it comes down to these little factoids. And actually, like, I think you could probably do a cost 2 brick oven pizza for under 600 USD, you know, in comparison. So you could fuck it up, like you could fuck it up 10 times and you haven't hit a $20,000 fucking oven, you know what I mean? Like, and then you've learned a new trade that you can use in every other part of your industry. I'm one of those weirdos that's like, hey, let's make mayonnaise while we work.
That's a really good thing to hear. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. I you know, like I said, I did learn to cook New York pizza with my buddy that I worked with when I was growing veggies in Minnesota for like a year. I worked with him on Friday and Saturday night. It was really fun. And I mean, we just use an electric oven, you know, like a basic, you know, fucking, that's how they do New York pizzas. They're all fucking electric, you know, 2-tier ovens. And then now I do shit just on my Traeger with a stone, you know what I mean? I could fucking good. Really good pizzas that way. Yeah, I really do. But like, I've been totally dorking out about it. And like, I'm like, oh my God, the Mara Forni, they're fucking dope as shit. You can do fire and gas, you know? So I'm like, but you're right. Like, it really is about the structure, and I can incorporate that and figure those things out.
I'm not trying to preach. Like, if you want to support a small business that builds ovens, you should fucking totally do it. I need to hear,
you know, and I probably just need to dig a little deeper. But that's what I was telling you when I was looking at the DIY stuff. I was watching people's sloppy ovens, and it kind of turned me off a little bit. You know what I mean? And I know that you can still make whatever. Like, I grow, you know, that's how I think about my greenhouse. Like, it's kind of a ramshackled spaceship, you know, that I feel like I can fly really well, but maybe not everyone could, you know.
Just saying, me and Chad are interested in coming for pizza, whether it's in your Traeger oven or like if you threw it together in a toaster. What's it called? Toaster oven?
Yeah, toaster oven.
Yeah.
I'll eat bagel bites. You got
you make it in conventional
house,
oven.
brother.
You can make a pretty damn good pizza.
It would be fun, man. It would be fun to do some food together. I had no idea you were a trained foodie. I'm not a trained foodie. I'm just a grower that like I said. So when I was in Minnesota, I started growing veggies, and I put all my heart into tomatoes, and I started bringing them to these chefs. Minneapolis has a fantastic food scene for folks that don't know. And I just started bringing these tomatoes that I would grow like I was growing weed, and they were like throwing a shit fit on them. And it also helped that my wife, one of her best friends is one of the absolute best bartenders in Minneapolis. He's very well known and been in one. And so he put at one point he put out a post, and like all these guys called me. And so I was immediately in, kind of thing. But from that, I was already cooking, but from that, I really kind of got in with some of these guys and started to like get excited about how detailed they were with cooking, you know what I mean? Because I just wasn't exposed to it. And anyway,
and nobody really cooks nowadays. When you look at the industry as a whole, it's kind of fucked. They take things and recombine it and put it together, and you know, you buy packaged mayonnaise. And getting back down to it, like it used to be, a farm would grow their food and their vegetables, and they would have a place where they would sell it out of, and they would cook, and they would have a restaurant there, and that was the structure of things, you know. And they would have their own beer or cider depending on what they produced on the facility, and like that kind of mentality and getting back to it is really challenging in today's society. And I find myself, like, I always try and scapegoat out myself. Like, I got pizza pockets, I got mac and cheese, man. Like, I fucking had mac and cheese at lunch today. I got two kids, 1 and 5. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. A little bit of compromise here and there, but it's like, it's tough to try and do that regenerative lifestyle at all points in time when it comes to this stuff. But I think it's fun to build things like that and to get into those little things. And I'm totally down to come cook and fucking just fuck around for a little bit. I don't cook seriously anymore, and so I've actually been able to enjoy it again. So it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. It's not when there's no pressure, but I love it. But thanks.
Maybe we should do a gathering. It would be fun to do a gathering. Really fun. Like that, like it always was my dream to have like this rounded farm. I never set out to be a cannabis farmer. I kind of like let myself jump for the last fucking 10 years, jump down cannabis and focus almost specifically on cannabis. Because I really, just like everybody else, saw the financial, thing in it and thought, okay, this can fuel my dream. But the dream always was that I would have, pork curing and cows in pasture, that I would be able to offer a full, and it was never about like selling all that, but it was more about like experience, And so you guys know me for the thing that I've done, probably this conference and like selling my seeds and talking online, but like that's kind of like something have been always interested in. I dabbled with in Minnesota when I was a farm, had my farm out there and did some events. But now that I've been able to do some cannabis events, and even this last one, the melting of the heads, we had folks over here at my place. I had about 40 people on Thursday night, and I smoked just a bunch of ribs and tri-tip and beans, and there wasn't nothing elaborate, but it was smooth as shit inside me, and I was able to pull it off really easy and not be stressed. And that was like the biggest, coolest thing for me, is I was like, oh dude, I was smoking weed and having a good time while I did that. Like, let's fuck around with this, because that really is the fun part of food. And I think that like, and with weed too, it's the fun part of weed. And when you get too focused on production of it, it can be really stressful and take away some of the fun. But if you keep it, I don't know, I'm just bullshitting right now and just literally talking out what's going on inside of me and the thing I'm trying to figure out,
You're like a pillar community, or like handers of culture is what I kind of say. Like when people pass you your seeds, they hand you their culture. When somebody cooks you something that they've made, that they pulled out of the garden, they're sharing their culture with you. And I think that's one of the greatest values in life. And that's what makes like humus beings who they are, and people like yourself so valuable, and people like these discussions so valuable. So thanks for letting me be here. Good people. Good people.
Is there portability to that oven, like to where you could actually build something like on the land and like maybe bring that out for the event or something, and then kind of have you as almost like it as a centerpiece of everything else going on around you?
What was the question? Is it portable?
Yeah.
I mean, you can build them that way for sure, like on trailers and things. But what I have, I'm thinking about both, to be honest. Like I have this school bus, and part of me was like, man, you should just build an oven inside the school bus and fucking hop in it, and do that. But then the other part of me is like, man, wouldn't it be that much cool, or another cool thing to like build like an indoor outdoor kitchen, like a hut and a bar, if you will, that could, like a 20-30 person bar that I could have a pizza oven and kitchen inside of, and then host events here. And I don't know, and just have people come here, and have people like speakers stay inside my bus and have people come to events at my place. Like part of the other thing that I think about a lot is like, I've done a decent job at connecting with the general cannabis community online and the people around the country, but I haven't done as good a job connecting with the people in my local community, and as this world is changing and feeling so fragile, that local community really is feeling more of a, like if the internet goes out, we don't see each other. Like, sorry, see goodbye. Like, no one's buying my goddamn seeds anymore. You know, like that's how I'm thinking. You know, like, but my neighbors and shit might be interested in buying a pizza or buying some tomatoes and that sort of thing. I don't know.
I like the community.
I'm kind of a warrior and kind of like also worry about the collapse of the society and also like really welcome it.
Well, we've never in any of our lifetimes really been so close to, or at least some of the cracks that can exist. They've never been pointed out like they have been in the last few years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
you know, it should make people think. And acting local is always a good thing.
And
you
at the
know?
very least, like reducing the overhead and being able to live a different way because, you know, food and gasoline and all these things are going to be and need to be drastically increased. You know, food is still underpriced. I know it sucks for everybody. It sucks for us. Our food has gone up, you know, but it still is underpriced. In reality, like food and shelter should be our budgets, you know, like not iPads and like all the other fucking shit that we spend our money on, like because that's what we need. And because we've changed it in our American culture, we've reaped a society that puts shit, cheap, quality food because that's what we've asked for. You know, it's
convenience
like
over
asked for
quality.
You know? Yeah.
And I forget who said this, and it's probably many people, but it's like, isn't it ironic that the grocery store has a health food aisle? What the fuck is the rest of it?
Yeah, exactly, right?
That's funny. I never heard that. That's pretty funny.
I dug it. Don't know where I heard it, but you know, again, sometimes you hear something, you're like, never thought about it that way. Fucking spot on.
Yeah. Health food store. Well, then what is the other food?
Wait a minute. Question it all. Question it all. Except London. He's in Canada where everything is okay.
No, it's just really cold. So it's like, well, fuck. What are you going to do for half the year?
I don't know.
You know,
Snowboard.
Joshua, you're like as cold as we are.
Oh, bro, it's coming, dude. That's part of it too. Like the summer just happened too quick. You know, it barely started late. You know, we had a late start, and then it happened, and it's charging now. It's still good, and it's going. And you know, we got hot, but I am
super.
Where did you
regenerative.
find that picture? Oh my god,
That is such a great photo.
where did you
Hey,
find that photo, dude?
Can you send that to me,
from a
please?
wedding or something.
Copy of that.
Like I'm wearing a tie.
It's like a wedding.
Hey, I gotta change my thumbnails. Can you send that to me? I gotta change
Oh
all
my
my thumbnails
goodness.
with Dutch on them. Whenever he shows up, I gotta change my thumbnails. To it.
Super regenerative. I love the super.
From God, people. Oh my goodness, that's totally my wedding getup too. So that had to be from some Facebook something.
I'm pretty good at finding pictures of people online and this kind of shit.
That's scary.
That's funny.
That's awesome. And the internet is forever. The internet is forever.
Right, exactly. Don't talk shit.
Man, that was fucking great. Yeah, if you're wondering why I was quiet there for a bit, that's why.
But I saw this big grin on your face, though. I'm like, who's he typing to? Eating grin. Okay, I guess I'm gonna throw the most controversial pizza question to ever exist out there to you. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Fuck you.
I mean, I don't care. I don't personally care for pineapple, but I think that like whatever, you know, like whatever.
I say no pineapple.
I'm not a strict.
No, no
95% of
I think
serial
people can put whatever
killers
they want
love
on shit, but I don't
pineapple
like
on
pineapple.
pizza.
London got quiet.
I don't
I
have
like
an
it.
opinion on this because it's violent.
I like
Was to share
pineapple,
that.
but I like pineapple with the spicy. Like, give me the pineapple with like lots of like pepper seeds or something. to
although,
kind of
like,
balance it out.
I have been told that pineapple, fresh pineapple is way different than the pineapple that travels to us. And so I never had fresh pineapple.
All I'm saying is your girlfriend will be grateful that you put pineapple on your pizza.
I gotta go to Urban Dictionary to figure that one out.
Let's just say that pineapple juice makes certain things taste better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I've heard that.
Wait, how you know that?
Question everything. Oh, shit.
There's your best reason why.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said the pineapple and hot dog. My wife does. There's this pizza she gets from Fultano's down in Astoria, and it's got pineapple, but it's loaded with pepperoncinis as well.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, that's what makes it together. Because I always give her shit. And she's like, no, it's the best. I get my own. I get the meat lovers, but yeah, she gets that one.
Yeah.
I think the Italians.
You're like, I get the meat lovers.
You get your own pizza.
If you're gonna put pineapple on it, it's not pizza anymore. You're eating flatbread. Okay, it's just how we change the classification.
Well, that's how I feel about when you change it from a red sauce to anything else. Like chicken bacon ranch is not a pizza. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but these
But
Neapolitan
actually-
guys, they do like they do the fucking,
Red sauce?
Red sauce only. Yeah. Yeah,
red
marinara.
sauce. Red
What
sauce
about-
pizza
Oh,
is
cheese.
actually
Red
is
sauce
actually
and fucking oregano, and that's
it's
it.
not
Some
red
garlic.
sauce was never on a pizza originally. It's actually all white sauce. And pizza is actually a breakfast food because it would be cooked in the morning because the ovens, they would heat them one time for the day. And then they would cook the pastries at the stuff at the temperature to go down. So you'd go pizzas, breads, and then as the oven cooled off, your pastries, your muffins and your pastries.
Lies.
This is cute. This is cute. But I don't think this.
I didn't realize it went back to 7,000
French
years
Italian.
ago. That's crazy. It started
Yeah.
off in Sardinia, France, and Italy. I thought it started off in China. Holy shit. I was totally wrong.
So
I just
what?
watched a pizza documentary last night.
It really depends on who updated the Wikipedia last.
Was it the histories of pizza?
Okay. It was the Ancient Aliens guy.
Oh,
It was
Lord.
on.
Hey, that makes sense. That makes
Prime.
sense. That's why it's because it's out of this world, man.
The
Okay,
aliens
yeah.
came down and gave us
a
pizza.
is just a really
And weed.
fancy taco when it comes down to it. If you really want to just fuck with people's soul, is anything with one piece of bread and filling is a taco.
What about the
Okay.
gorditas?
Aren't
What
tacos
if-
made with
Big
corn?
taco.
Aren't
What if-
tacos specifically corn and pizza's wheat?
Okay,
No,
if you
you
guys
can
have
have
a
flour.
problem,
Yeah.
if you guys have a problem with pineapple on pizza, what about stromboli?
Stromboli.
I like stromboli. It's not pizza,
Yeah.
but
It's basically a pizza rolled up. It's just a pizza that you
like a
rolled into a
calzone.
fucking hoagie.
if a calzone and
Like
a
a
pizza,
pizza
have
noodle.
a baby,
Well, you answered the question. You called it a stromboli. You didn't call it a pizza, rolled up
Ooh.
pizza.
No,
It's
but
a-
that's basically what it is. Though.
It's a rolled calzone.
We just nobody ask about the gelato ice cream debate, okay? Because we don't need to get into that one because that's a serious Italian culture problem that people need to figure out.
I go for the froyo, bro.
Froyo.
Yeah,
It is
I'm with
good
you,
though.
bro.
It is
I'm
good.
with you on the froyo.
It is good. There was a when I was living in Mill Creek, there was one that opened for like all the bored soccer moms, housewives. And I'd always go down there. It was fucking awesome.
The froyo is a lot better than the ice cream though. That sour flavor it has. I'm down.
I like the gelato too. When we were in the Netherlands,
pretty
it seemed
amazing.
like gelato was like on every corner almost. And it was like $1. So every day, maybe a couple of times a day, it was hot. We'd always have some gelato.
All
'Cause
right.
it's-
Well, let's. That's it. It's settled. It's gonna be pizza, gelato, a stromboli for Steve.
If you make it, I'll eat it
They
with
make-
pineapples on it. I'll call it pizza too if you'd like.
I've never seen a gluten-free stromboli. If someone knows where I can get one, that'd be
Golly.
pretty fallen.
I know someone that could make one for you.
I'm going the opposite. I'm like increase the gluten. Like
My old roommate bought me a whole bag of gluten for Christmas one year because we used to buy each other like fuck you joke gifts.
That's a pretty good one.
my goodness, you guys, I have literally I'm really having a hard time eating steak only and reading about pizza so much. Like
That sounds like torture.
it is kind of torture, but like I can't stop reading. I'm having so much fun.
So speaking of which, so we were at the Mushroom Festival, right? And it's at this Christian campground. And apparently they have dietary rules there about pork, meaning you're not supposed to have any. So what did we do? They processed an entire pig and did a class about it because no one told them. It was great. And then they're all done. They cook it up. The lady was all cooked by the time they realized it happened. It was pretty fucking hilarious. It's like, well, we got to eat it now. It's already cooked.
Christians aren't anti-pork.
Yeah, I thought that was strange. There's only a couple of sects that are anti-pork as far
Yeah, I
as
can't think.
Christianity goes. Rastafari is one. I don't know. I was just
Seventh Day
bizarre.
Adventist or something. Well, like
I was going to ask maybe 7-Day Adventist, but I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think Adventists would let us have that festival there. I'm just gonna I float that one out there.
I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
screen a
What
little better.
weird
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
place.
What about you, Chad? You got anything cool coming up this week as far as episodes?
Saturday I'll have Jeff Lowenfeld, so that'll be a fun conversation.
Fuck
Nice.
you! I want
He's
to
got-
see that so bad. Yeah.
He's a great guest.
I have
Cool.
not had him as a guest before. It'll be kind of fun because he's got a new book coming out. Obviously, there's the first 3 teaming books. He's got Teaming with Bacteria now. But I fully admit, man, I'm gonna have to do some homework before
Well,
that
ask him
episode
about-
starts.
He just ran against Santa Claus and Sarah Palin in an election, so that's something else that's funny. You could ask him about.
Yeah, he's multi-talented. I didn't know about Santa Claus though.
Yeah, this guy's actual name is Santa Claus, and he's like apparently does like children's charity stuff. He's actually a great guy.
Okay. For a second, I was like, man, wouldn't that suck to lose to a guy named Santa Claus? But it sounds like this guy embraces it and lives it. So maybe that wouldn't be so bad. If he's a jolly old dude, then what's
Very
the
much
damage?
embodies the name.
Damn you,
Yeah.
Chris Kringle! You've
You're
bested
saying
me again.
There's a guy that's in a government position named Santa Claus in Alaska right now. Is that what you're telling me?
Damn you, Santa, you fiendish fat bastard.
That Santa exists? This is what you're telling me right now.
Yes, he does. In your heart.
Absolutely. That's how my kids get their Christmas present every year.
I'm gonna have to try not buying stuff this year and see what happens.
Yeah. So
Just
that's
tell them that Krampus took it.
Ooh.
You're shitty children. You didn't get anything.
I seen an ad there, and it was like Kijiji, which is our Craigslist, and it was for a bad Santa. They wanted you to come back to the house and take their kids' gifts. Like you had to come in a Santa costume though, and you had to pack up their PlayStation and take it and leave.
I don't know what's worse, that or the pigeon story. It's like traumatizing either way.
So this is his page here. That's an actual photo of him. He ran for a U.S. House seat in Alaska.
It is Santa Claus.
Yeah. So
Holy fuck.
yeah. So you got Mary Bella, Sarah Palin. Yeah. Anyways,
Jeff,
He
how
held
did,
the,
how did
reindeer
Jeff
vote.
I'm trying
Lowenfeld
to find Jeff on here. Oh, there you go. Jeff Lowenfeld got 3.7%.
Hey, he ran.
So Santa Claus beat him by 1%.
Oh
He needed
no.
to take his shirt off in the obviously for the campaign photos, and then he would have got first. I guarantee it.
Santa?
No, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Well, Santa might, Santa.
Well, I mean,
Santa's
How do you
got the
think he
dad
got the
bod. He'll
extra
get
point?
that crowd.
So yeah, that's that'll be coming up Saturday though. That's about it right now. I'm not doing anything cool like researching pizza. The biggest thing in my life is trying to find my wedding ring, which I lost the other day.
oh no.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
doing
damn.
a favor for a neighbor too. I was just like mowing their lawn and then they wanted me to dump it over in the woods. So I went over and I'm like dumping the bag in the woods and I feel like the lip on the bottom of the bag just like catch my ring and it just like went off. I'm just like, fuck.
Man,
Okay,
no
I set
good
the bag
deed
down.
goes unpaid.
I know, dude. You should see it now. It's like
Oh,
because it
that's
was
so bad,
probably
man.
about knee-high grass. And I looked for a while first day and I moved stuff around. Second day, I like kind of bare earthed some of it. Today I went and bought a metal detector. Still
man.
not finding it. So I'm just
I hope
pulling
you
all
find
this
it,
stuff
buddy.
back. And it's not the like the value of the ring. The ring is actually cheap. Like the metal detector was more than
it's
the
a
ring.
sentimental
But
value.
yeah.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
I was gonna say a metal detector. You should be able to find it pretty quickly.
I would hope so. I just bought this one
Yeah,
today and I
as
went
long
out
as it's-
there and
As long as there's not other stuff around there to grab the signal and throw it.
yeah,
yeah.
I did find a couple pieces of tinfoil, like little scraps of tinfoil, which gave me hope that it actually works. But the ring is like tungsten. So according to YouTube and the internet, it should be picked up by the metal detector. It's not like gold or silver, which definitely would, but so tungsten. So I need to get some batteries that weren't taken out of the remote and a fire alarm. And oh, fuck, I need to open my tent. It's only 84 in there right now. That should have been done 45 minutes ago. Yeah, so hopefully it will show up on the metal detector. I'll get some fresh batteries and then go again tomorrow. That's about all I'm good for. I don't know. Open my tent real quick.
Awesome.
Do we have Queen of the Sun Grown on next week? Or I'm sorry, this week on my show, Growing with Fishes. And then next week we have I forget. Yeah, I forget. We have somebody on for next week after. And then we have ATG Acres on, so that'll be fun. So that's what I have coming up.
So beyond all the cool things that Jeff has done, we can really give him thanks for the Regen conference, straight up, because the way it went down was a homie Leighton said he could get a hold of Elaine Ingham and that he's like, I'll call her and she'll come. I'm like, cool. And so he called and said that she could come. And I just got, I don't know, whether it was on Instagram or email. I just straight up, like, boom, like, hey, I'm putting on this conference, this is, and Elaine's going to be there, wondering if you could make it. Oh, if Elaine's going to be there, I can do that. You got time for a phone call? And then, so we talked on the phone, and then I called the next person down the line in my head, and I said, hey, I've got Elaine Ingham online and Jeff Lowenfels. Wonder if you'd be interested. I think it might have been Steve or somebody next. Anyways, it was just like the snowball really was flowing once we had Elaine and Jeff on board. And Elaine actually didn't make the first one, but Jeff did, and Jeff opened up in Portland in 2018. And Jeff, I've told him this story, but so I used to live in Portland, and I went into the grow shop that I was working at, and One Eye Rec, who built the dog walker that I just bred with, I used to shop with him, and he handed me the Lowenfels book. And then I read it, remember reading, and like, I was like, this guy keeps referencing this Dr. Elaine Ingham. Like, she must be the guru if he keeps, you know what I mean? And so I went after her, and then I went down there. And so that was like, so straight up, like, Jeff is the credit for a lot of good shit that happened, you know, because he inspired a lot of good shit in me and a lot of good shit in all of us. And like, so I don't know, just so much respect for the work he's done, you know?
It is. I always like, think of him. If anybody says, oh, well, I'm thinking about growing a different style, or I want to do this, or I'm interested in this, that's usually the first thing out of people's mouths. It's like, you need teaming with, yeah, that's like the full on, like, I mean, that happened to me. I'm like, I want to learn a little bit more. So that's kind of what I did, but let's see here.
I know college professors that use his books as their textbooks, or some of their textbooks for the classes. I actually can think of 2 of them off the top of my head that do that.
This is what else I've got going right now. Got some Kool-Aid Man, which is the big lady here. I was a big mom, so that's the Kool-Aid Man. These just starting to flower. Like 2 days ago, I put them into flower. Got the Twin Peaks in the back there. Then a couple of the Westport grape juices. But they're just all, they're getting going.
Is that the Twin Peaks from what's his name? Down in Cali.
It's from
Skunk VA. Yeah, Skunk VA.
Lucky Dog Seed Co.
Yeah, I ran those. Those are great.
Nice. Yeah, I like those. I'm a big fan of like Chem 91, and a person who was listening, he's like, yo, your Twin Peaks thing, you like Chem 91, I've got something that you need to have. I'm like, okay. Sends those over to me, and I'm like, that's awesome, that's sick. So running those, and then just getting ready to pop some more stuff, but those need to finish first.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to pop off, guys. I really appreciate letting me hang out and bullshit with you all.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
I also wanted, since we were talking about Elaine and Jeff and everybody, if you guys haven't checked out, if you're into Elaine, definitely check out Matt Powers. He's got a lot of really cool shit. Actually spent the whole weekend with him and Chris over the weekend. It was pretty cool. But he's got a lot of stuff that kind of builds off of a lot of the awesome work that Elaine did, and kind of fleshed it out more, or did more studies on exactly what's going on, and comparing different things and stuff like that. So it's really kind of if you've taken Elaine stuff, it's kind of like the next step up in terms of information and detail. Certainly, I mean, some of the stuff that we were talking about was pretty wild. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. And this book too, Radical Mycology Fest, is coming up in October. They got a lot of cool stuff coming up as well. But this is one of the best mushroom books that's out there. Tons of stuff on endophytes as well in that book. But yeah, check it out.
Nice.
Really cool dude. If you aren't familiar. And then I remember who it was. I'm also working on getting what the fuck is his name? I'll come to me here in a minute. Josh, how do people find you?
regenerativeseeds.com or Dutch Blooms on Instagram. Or you could just come over. I'll be slinging pies off my Traeger on Friday nights.
Buy the slice. Buy the slice.
By the slice. Yeah. Big thick slices.
If you figure out a way to put like a blunt or a cone through the crust and have like a baked crust pizza, you eat it to the end and then you just light it up.
Lights up.
Yes.
I could teach you how to do that. I could do that. I could do that.
I got that
Possible.
problem. No problem. Got that solved.
I got a guy that'll build a thing for you. It's wonderful. Easy peasy, no problem. It's
Sounds
easy.
great. Let's bake it in. Have a good night, everybody.
See you, Josh.
Really fun
Cheers,
night.
Josh.
Bye.
Hi, Josh.
He's out.
Peace.
Ciao, brother.
I think I'm gonna follow through the door.
All right.
Watering and get a few things done as well. But thanks for hanging out again, guys. Thanks for
Yeah, man.
letting me back in.
Thanks for stopping by, bro.
Yeah, thanks for another good show. Sorry, Steve didn't end up being able to join us. I'll try to get him on next week. I'm not quite sure what happened. I talked to him about an hour before the show. So, I guess something came up, but I'm sure we'll get him on here soon.
Yeah, as we all know, these things happen.
Oh yeah, I'm talking to him all the time now because we're working together. So
Cool.
definitely excited to get over the pond. But yeah, thanks for joining us. And when can people find you, or how do people find you, and when can they find your next stuff? We actually did a great video on pH for your channel the other day too. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. And that was the Just One Thing series that you came and helped me with, talking about pH, which is for some people an important issue, particularly if you're doing aquaponics. So yeah, I've got my YouTube channel, Chad Westport, and then on the Future Cannabis Project is also doing shows, and that's where I'll be Saturday, 2:00 on the West Coast with Jeff Lowenfels. That'll be a good thing. But yeah, there's my personal channel. And I like to try to do short format stuff, basically trying to help with new growers, things, that I feel confident talking about and helping new people get going. So that's where you can find that stuff. But I like hanging out here too. So find me here on Wednesdays. Great place to be. Yeah. Future Cannabis Project just did the interview with Mila, Hash Queen. That was awesome. Potent Ponics tossing me some awesome questions to ask about too. Yeah, who knew she was growing under a bridge? That's kind of a cool story. There are so many
Under a bridge, under the ground. She had multiple, man, the number of places she had when she was fully growing, she was major back in the day. Yeah. She had greenhouses.
Wesingine is our resident Mila expert.
That I am.
That's awesome, man. And I can't wait to learn more about her. It's like I knew a little bit and then I learned a little bit more. And yeah, I can't wait. She's going to send her book. I kind of feel like I've almost read it, but yeah, it'll be cool.
I've read it. It's a good read. Everyone should read it. Yeah. A very innovative woman. She is she had two of the most influential, two of the first mechanicalized ways of she invented bubble bags, and she also invented the weed tumbler, which is pretty cool because really hash making didn't change over about 2,000 years, but then yeah, for one person to come up with two things like that were instrumental in the changing of cannabis. So she's a pretty amazing woman, and
a fucking joy to talk to as well. Real joy to talk to. That was another awesome factor. But
so is her daughter too. We've interviewed her before as well, separate from Mila. She's great as well.
Yeah, Milos. Yeah,
Milos. I couldn't remember her name.
Milos.
Thank you. Yeah, she's got stories as wild as her mom. That's for sure.
Oh, I bet too. Especially probably coming from the younger perspective too. Seeing the same situation, you might get two different stories, similar but different. Cool. Right on. I'm gonna hop out. London, have an excellent night.
Awesome. I'm
on,
pretty sure I'm
brother.
going to do the same.
Wesingine, or as I'm always gonna call you, Wesingine. And Ponics too. Thanks again, man. Have a good night. Catch you later.
Cheers. And how do people find you, London, when it's for your stuff?
Okay. So I have the Future Cannabis Project with it. I do the stuff on and the things that was there. Yeah, that I'm on Tuesdays is kind of my big days. I do a show usually on Tuesday morning, Cannabis for breakfast, and Tuesday afternoons, the Dank Hour. But I do a whole bunch of stuff over there. I do a lot of sport background producing. We're trying a lot of new content. We're doing like sampling stuff, and we're starting to do judging stuff and working with a lot of people. I've got a new series that'll be dropping shortly to keep your eye out for on Future Cannabis, where we actually got to I had one day where it was literally Okay, it was. Let me see if I can do this. Kevin Jodry, Noel Lease, Pam West, Michael West, Josh and Kelly, Ron Harrington, and just like I'm missing like 5 or 6, but BC Bubble Man, just an amazing group of human beings, all sharing 3 mics, all sharing a conversation and an in-depth kind of look at their opinions and perspective on the industry and like sharing it together. So I'm like, that's going to drop in the next couple of weeks. So I'm really excited to share that piece. That was something that I don't think I've seen that volume of people that are that level in the industry really put something together like that, and they were just really eloquent, really nice, really work together. You know, sometimes you get so many big heads into a space and there's that conflict point, but everybody got a great space to share, and it was really just an amazing piece of content. So keep your eye out for that. That'll drop on Future Cannabis Project. I do have my own site that you did share a minute ago, and we have been doing, I have like a little home grow course that people can learn to do, and we've been dropping. So each month I drop one term of the entire course. And you can like check out that term, and we're going through the entire thing, but it'll only be available for 1 month. And essentially I've broken up the whole process in like an indoor or like a slight outdoor grow, up into like 5 to 10 minute segments. Like, here's the lights, go buy a light. Here's a tent, go buy a tent. Like, just really simple, short stuff. So you're going through the entire, there's 10 hours of content total and about 60 episodes. So we're going through them cut by cut, and then we'll take a few out and then we'll add some more in, and then people get to roll through the whole process with us. So feel free to join on with that one. And that's on my own channel as short little content stuff. And those are pretty much the ways to follow me. And you know, check out Joda Herb on Thursdays. Like, check out all the cool stuff going on, and support your local community. Or kind of my last final plug is just make sure you're supporting local. Like, know where your money is going, and make sure that if your money is going to a business, that business is spending its money on its employees or spending its money on the local economy and helping that to grow, right? And sometimes the best decision in that matter is your buddy down the street that's growing weed, and it's good weed. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes that's the best spot.
Yeah, man.
Whatever that is for you, find it and make sure that money stays local, because that'll come back to you in one way or another, in my opinion.
Nice. Well, looking forward to your shows coming up, and looking forward to coming on to your show sometime as well. I know we talked about that a little bit. I'm super excited.
Oh, you're coming on. It's happening. I got a birthday episode on Tuesday next week, so maybe I'll drag you onto that one. I'll shoot you a message after the show. You're probably running around being very busy. A week's notice is not very good. But anyways, thank you again so much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to sharing space with you again. And
yeah, man, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And you're welcome anytime on Wednesdays. We kind of screw around, have this kind of more laid back, fun show where we kind of just whatever people want to talk about or bring up or ask in chat or whatever. It's a little more laid back than a lot of our other shows that are more of a format or a educational goal in particular. So I think it's kind of fun, you know.
It was a great vibe, and you guys are all fantastic human beings. Thanks
for coming, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Nice to meet you. How do I say it? Wesingine.
Wesingine.
Wesingine. We're gonna chat, and I'm gonna get to know you better. But
Right
thanks
on,
again.
man.
It was nice to meet you and share space with you as well, brother. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks, man. Take
Happy
care.
growing.
Cheers. Well, that was fun. Having a really fun episode today.
Yeah, man.
I think we should start using some of the funny memes from the different episodes as like the image for the YouTube.
Absolutely.
That'll be kind of fun. I think we should start with this one with Josh.
Yeah, the Pizza Don. Yeah.
Yeah, Pizza Don. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll switch it. Yeah, I think the Pizza Don wins.
Yeah, man, for sure.
What's going on with you in your garden? Actually, you said that on air. I was trying to think you said that off air. What else is going on with you?
Oh, not much. I have some interesting stuff going in the garden. I actually should Agnes Bickett's in chat, and I got some of her what was it now? It was God damn it, AK-47 crossed with what the fuck was it crossed with? Agnes, refresh my memory. God damn it. But anyways, that's the one that's turning out all the pink pistils. So it's really cool smelling. It's really dark, purpley color. She's nice. She's flowering quite well. But yeah, that's what I got going on. I got got a bunch of other things coming up, but yeah, everything's just going good. Going good. All right, it's Flow with AK-47. That's right.
All right, we officially have Don Pizza as the episode picture. In case
Yeah,
you missed
man.
it earlier. Josh was talking about starting a weed pizza thing. I thought that was great.
Solid.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to turn people on to a channel that I'm a big fan of real quick as well. If you haven't already checked it out, please go check out Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't. It is the best YouTube channel out there, in my opinion, in terms of botany stuff. It also has a great guide on like how to kill your lawn and put an actual garden there or replace it with native plants and all these cool specialized different plants from all over the world. It's really fucking cool. Tells you all about them, swears a lot, makes a lot of inappropriate jokes while teaching you all about plant botany. It's pretty wonderful. It's kind of like botany it's like David Attenborough and like Joe Pesci had like a baby together and then they were just passionate about botany.
Yeah, man.
Super, super great. And there's tons and tons and tons of information on any kind of plant you can think of. So definitely check it out. Let me see. I don't think we have anything else left in the notes. I didn't have it. Oh, there was an article. We'll talk about it next week because I got to find more articles on it. They discovered mycocannabinoids that are mushroom produced, which I thought was super crazy. I think there's 6 of them or 8 of them that they discovered. So we have no idea what those do. So that's kind of cool. And then, who the hell knows what mushrooms produce those and trying to find those in nature and all this other stuff. So pretty neat. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in the space. So other than that, I went and hung out and saw Cheech today. That was kind of cool at Hi Guys. They're a company out here that does distribution for Oklahoma. That was pretty nifty. And then what else is going on? Working on just getting some of the edible stuff back into the market in a couple of different places, a couple of different states and countries right now. Have a big meeting about possibly doing some of my drinks in Germany with a big company. So that's super fucking cool.
Nice.
So fingers crossed that goes through. We'll see how it goes. What else is going on? All kinds of stuff right now, but mostly just getting ready to kind of get all my ducks in order to get ready to go to Thailand. I got a good place, someone to watch the dogs while I'm away and everything. So,
Nice.
I can't complain.
The wolf dog them take care of. Yeah. Man.
Yeah, they'll have a nice 20-acre farm to run around on while I'm away, and some friends that are bigger than they are that are dogs that can have fun with. So they'll have a good time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they're gonna be real happy together. So I think they'll be just fine. They have a big steel barn that's climate controlled for them during the day, so they can like run around and play and still have room to be rowdy. So I'm stoked on having a good option at least now for that. That was the thing I was worried about the most. Is dogs are my kids, man.
Yeah, man, for sure, absolutely.
Oh, that was the other article I wanted to pull up just because it was fucking amazing. If you haven't seen it yet today, it's super fucking cool. The new James Webb Space Telescope is taking some fucking insane photos of Jupiter. You can see these huge auroras
That's cool.
around the poles and everything, and all that. Super fucking neat. Just super, super cool. Look at that. There's the different moons and stuff and the rings.
That one crater is
Auroras.
like the size of the Earth.
That's the storm. That storm is bigger than the planet Earth. Yes. You can fit 4 Earths in it or something like that.
Fuck.
Yeah. So there's the ring. There's the different moons. And then, yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow.
But that James Webb Space Telescope is so freaking cool.
I've heard that that there's been like scientists texting like, did we get it wrong about the Big Bang Theory? Because what they're seeing from the James Webb isn't quite making sense.
No, so what they're just able to look back to some of the earliest star formation, and they're not quite sure. There's some stuff around, but it's not.
But
it doesn't.
they're supposed to be seeing
Yeah.
expanding, and they're not seeing expanding. So they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, who knows? I know right now. I read an article earlier today that was like, it does not say that, blah 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 blah. But I didn't get a chance to finish reading it because I've had a bit of a busy day today.
Yeah.
I barely had time to walk the dogs before the podcast. So, yeah, but I don't know. It's fun. I think we're gonna try and keep a lot
Definitely
of
cool.
Definitely trying to keep more fun panelists on the show. I got a lot of people I'm going to try and reach out to, and I'm trying to get a lot more people that also do shows and stuff, or also do some other things. Because one, it makes it a lot easier for us to manage the podcast. People don't have to worry about trying to enforce how people talking on top of each other, or other stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just easier. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. We're going to bring in some other cool breeders and some other stuff just to kind of bring in some variety. But I hope you guys like the show. It's really a lot of fun. This is certainly one of my favorite parts of the week.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm
Everybody
really
that's tuned in. Like, for
yeah,
sure.
and tell your friends if you like the show.
Yeah,
Please tell some friends so we can continue to grow the channel. And appreciate you guys that are supporting us. I do apologize. I still haven't had a chance to sit down and upload everything. I've been out of town this whole past week, so and then I've got a bunch of stuff going on this next couple of weekends. So, but I will get to it at some point here. I don't know. I might just throw it up on the Ponics channel for now, just to get it up in an audio format. But I do want it to kind of have its own dedicated thing here in the future. But right now, I might do that just as a temporary solution for people that want to listen to it that way, because I just don't have the time to finish setting up all of it, because it takes a good long weekend to set that all up, because once you set up the RSS feed, you have to go to the different websites and sign up your RSS feed to all those. Like Growing with Fishes is signed up on like over 500 or 800 different RSS feeds that kick out to different podcast websites. So we get like 40 times as much listeners on the audio version than we do on the
YouTube
video version. Yeah, we get way more. Like every episode, we're averaging between 17 and 30,000 listens per episode within the first 60 days for most of our stuff, episodes on the audio version. But on YouTube, like, we're 1,000, 1,200, whatever. So it can be a little annoying, but it is what it is. YouTube, it's just a long roller coaster. The YouTube algorithm, sometimes it loves you, sometimes it hates you.
Yep.
It's whatever it wants to do. It's just, I don't know, I have everything double backed up, so if they want to play fucking games, at least I have all my video content.
Wise.
Yeah, if you have a YouTube channel and you do any kind of cannabis, mushroom, or other content that's remotely controversial, make sure you, especially for like, you can get a 4 terabyte hard drive now for like $60. Like, just get a couple of them and just back everything up and just sit them on the shelf, and then just back everything up twice. Again, it's just, they're not expensive, so just get a couple of them and then just set them up on a shelf somewhere, and at least you have copies of everything in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I know, Chronic Roundtable, or what was it called? Was it the Chronic Roundtable with?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, they lost all their content. I don't think they had a backup. And a couple other people I know had really famous YouTube cannabis channels and lost everything. And there was that what's his name, one mushroom channel too, that was just like a foraging and nothing to do with anything of the magical variety. He got completely screwed. So there's a lot of people that have gotten issues. So.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole heap of sense sometimes, but it's the way the YouTube overlords run it. So
it does. It is easier though. So once you hit 10,000, they like treat you differently. You have like a different customer support thing that you can get access to. So it is nice once you break that ceiling, but it takes a while to get there. And actually, I think might have hit It might have hit another 1,000, whatever. Hold on, let me I know we were getting close before I left. Oh, not quite there yet. Almost at 13K. How do people find you there, Wes?
You can find me on Instagram at Wesingine, and you can find me here on Wednesday nights, and every now and then I help out over Thursday nights on Potent's other show, Growing with Fishes. Yeah, man. And, how about you, sir?
You can find me at Potent Ponics, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all the things. You can also find me. We have a huge nutrient database at opennutrientproject.com. I'm going to be slowly adding more functionality to that as well, but we have all the nutrients for it. Anything you could want to in testing, and NPK values for all your different organic inputs, and a whole hell of a lot more. So definitely check that out over there. What else? I guess, you can check out our classes at apmjclass.com or the pestclass.com. I have an aquaponic cannabis class and a full-length living soil and aquaponics pest control course. It's a full day. I'll be adding, I have a bunch of new content I filmed for that I'm going to be adding as well. So on top of that one day's content, you'll have a bunch more footage. I have a bunch more footage of insect damage and insects and photos and stuff I got to finish archiving and then uploading there. But it gives you a lot of photo reference points. So if you want to see what that looks like, if it's something that we've run into, then there's damage photos of all that stuff in there. So especially if you're trying to troubleshoot stuff, it's a great class that you have access to a wide range of resources after that you purchase the class. So it's pretty cool. What else? I think that's it. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back again next week, and check out my show tomorrow with Queen of the Sungrown. She's a great, another soil scientist. She teaches all the time on Jordan River at Growcast. They do soil classes together that you can take. So super excited to have her on. I know she's got some other announcements about Oklahoma she's excited to tell everybody about. So that'll be a lot of fun. So check this out tomorrow. That's at 7:30 Pacific on the Potent Ponics YouTube channel. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.